Hi everyone, hello. Greetings and salutations, how's it doing? What's happening? What's new? What's exciting? I am Trooper SJP and this is the Academic Foxhole. You know what? I kind of feel like I want to be. It is so 80s, Krellin. It is. You know, Krellin, I feel like it has been forever since I've seen you too. You know, it has been longer than I'd like because I didn't get any of my video game streams last week at all. And then, so today, right, is my first video game stream in like, I didn't get any last week. So it's been like 2 weeks. And am I hosting CR tonight? I am not hosting CR tonight because I have one more presentation tomorrow. And so I cannot because I have to deal with that. But once that is done, once this presentation is done tomorrow, then I think that will be a load off of my mind. A, I don't think that's the phrase. Is that the phrase? Oh, Hawkeye, please, if you would host, that would be wonderful. And then I can go back to hosting next week. But I have one more presentation tomorrow. I mean, look, I'm going to have a classroom presentation like in 2 weeks, but this is like a big presentation. And this is like the last big one that I have. I have to email someone actually, but, oh yay, load off. Load off your mind. Load off your mind. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Because you know when you say something, you're like, wait, that is not the phrase, and you kind of just miss it. Also, Rissa, I'm going to email you those notes. I will do that. It's just that my whole mind is sort of consumed at the moment with these two presentations, but then I will email them to you. Look, I've missed you all. I've not seen you all in such a long time, and it just feels like it's been 18 years. Do you know what I mean? Like it's felt like a long time. Um, and I feel like, oh, thank you, Toy Boat Sailor. Speaking of Toy Boat Sailor, how are you? How are you? I've been thinking about you too. I've just been thinking about everybody and then trying to stop thinking about everybody so I can get my paper finished. And I have a lot of thoughts that I want to have a conversation with you about. And I want to know if you know more information than I know and if you can help me out. Or if you have, okay, so let's talk about what I'm going to talk about. We have the game to play. We're going to do it. But first, you know how they're going to do I know, Krell's like, Trooper has thoughts? Inconceivable. So, you know, the big news, right, is that G4 is going to go and have this live play show with B. Dave Walters, a D&D show. And I was like, my first thought was, so that's not, I did not articulate those thoughts out loud. I understand that. But one of my first thoughts was, hey, Wandering DM. Hi. We are talking about the D&D show that's coming to the G4. And my sort of mixed thoughts about it, and mixed not in terms of like this is good, this is bad, but just like I have like a lot of a mix of thoughts. Wait, you're on my wrong account. Oh, because you got you're the Wandering Soak now, right? Wandering Sock. I feel like I should pull up the game so that we can move slowly while we're talking. I feel like I should do that. I feel like if I have the game up, then hello, Wandering Sock. You know,
Name game.
the name game. Come on, everybody. I say now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name. I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B on F. Or an M will appear. And then I say bo at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fanner, and foe. Then I say the name again with an F, very plain, then a fee, fi, and a mo. Then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Vulpes, 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 banana, fanner, fo, Vulpes, fee, fi, mo, mopes. Vulpes, Thank you for that resub. 40 months. Vulpes, that's a long time. You're old. I mean, 40? Wow, that's old. Although it makes me feel like I'm old. Uh, Rissa says, yep, at McKinsey speed, you'll never get him anywhere if you don't get him started. Something about encumbrance. Whatever, encumbrance. Colin says, I've got a 3.3 gigabyte update for Skyrim queued, and I'm wondering if I should just uninstall Skyrim. It's good. So, I wanted to upload this thing. I was like, oh, I can't upload things now. I'll take my RAM, and I'm going to have to wait till later. Look, I have all these things I'm going to tell you all. I feel like I should at least, I'm going to pull up the game. You know how we are with the game. I'm just going to pull it up so I can tell you all the things I've been thinking about. 1. Hey, how we roll, Evan. 1, I've been playing a lot of banjo, so I'm going to Saturday stream, I am going to play the banjo for you all. I'm going to play a song. I don't know which one yet. I haven't decided. But there's going to be a song. There's going to be Banjo Saturday on Saturday. Before we play The Outer Worlds, we're going to play the banjo. Just one song, only one. We're going to start fresh, clean slate. I'm going to play a song. That's it. That's what we're doing. I'm just putting it out into the universe. Oh, close. It's not Evan. Oh, is it Ewan? Yeah, I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it. Is it Ewan? This is what I'm asking. Riss is like, we are old. That's fair. That's fair. Owen. Ha! See, I was right. It's that, wait. Cause it's, you know what? No. It's BH, right? That is the V sound. So yes. So that's Owen. Mo. How many Mo's? Let's see. It's Mo, Monkey Mo. So 5 Mo's. Hey, look, here I'm at this campfire and I'm not even like dead. Also, what am I doing with my life? Nobody knows. I mean, it has 9 silent letters basically, so I don't mind. That's fair. But Owen, I'm working on it. Okay, look. So here's the thing. Also, why am I brewing coffee? Because I'm exhausted. That's why. Got it. Also, oh, hey, herbal tea. Why don't I just take this? And also, what am I doing with my life? These are questions that I don't actually know. I cannot answer any of these questions. Oh, I know what's going on. I'm famished and I don't think I have food. I mean, I might have food, but it's unlikely that I have food. Yeah, I have no food, everybody. Just right. This is where we are. I have no food. Right. Exactly. Now I remember now where we're at in this game. I have no food. And, right. Yeah. Yeah, I've got coffee and tea. And, that's not great. That's bad, actually. And I don't even have reserves of coffee and tea. So we're going to just be here for a moment. Ooh. Oh, I don't know if you all know what that means, but Be Right just donated bits. And I don't know if you know what that means, but I know what that means. Also, by the way, what it means is that I'm going to just make some more coffee and tea while we're here because I'm out and I'm going to do that while I thank Be Right for those bits by singing, We're in the Money, as sung by Ginger Rogers in the film Gold Diggers of 1933. Side note, I haven't thought about that, which means I'm going to be singing it in Pig Latin because, as Be Right says, Apihe Ersday the Upertre, Apihe Ersday thre ute uye. E-right, B. E-right Bay. Sort of like Beyonce Bay? Yes, so. Irwayan hey the anime. Irwayan hey the anime. Iwayat galeat wayat wayaxe utet galeang wayo. Irwayan hey the anime. Ide ice skays are ani say. Old man did he ash and pray, ooh, yare, ooh, dre, west down, way young ray, ooh. Ewe ever eat red leons lay, way at brayons lay, oot day. And we see the end, the order look left, the eye, right in the eye, we're in the money, we're in the money. We've got a lot of what it takes to get along. Thank you so much for those bits. They are very much appreciated. Y'all, I've missed you all. Also, I'm very concerned about the lack of food situation that I've got going on in this game right now, and I'm not quite certain what to do about it, because I don't... I could kill that guy and eat him, but I don't think the game will let me, so that's awkward. I don't know what I'm doing with mine, much less anyone else, so yeah. Krellin just says, oh, I don't actually play Skyrim, but when I do, I play unmodded. Yes, unmodded. So it feels like Krellin, the most interesting Skyrim player in the world. If you don't use mini mods, especially ones that require SKEs, then you'll be fine. Steam says, last played November 8, 1916, 5 years, not playing, I think means uninstall, not update. Yes. Hey, Trooper, guess what? What? What, Krellin? What? Tell me. Also, I feel like I was going to tell you something. Also, why am I not doing well? Less starve. Ooh, what? Okay. So this means I get to sing again, which I'm very excited about, and not really worry about what's going on over here, which, is a thing. So out of thanks for Krellin's generosity, I, by the way, secretly am just picking up, just setting up more tea for later, because at least tea they have calories, and I'll feel less like I'm gonna die. I'll just survive off of coffee and tea. But I'm gonna sing We're in the Money, as sung by Ginger Rogers in the film Gold Diggers 1933, which means I'm gonna sing it in Pig Latin using my old school 1920 style megaphone made out of metal. And I'm gonna sing it, I'm gonna sing it like this. I might not sing it like Ginger Rogers. I'm gonna sing it in Pig Latin, but I wonder if I can sing it like we'll see. I'm experimenting. Irwain hey the honey may. Irwain hey the honey may. Ivleat keleat voyad wed wakes you ted keleang wew. Irwain hey the honey may. The eyes are on he say. Old man did ash and pray, we are a woo, they must down my young rail. Even a red lines lay, of wed brands lay, day. And when we see the Lord will look that the eye got in the eye. We're in the money, we're in the money. We've got a lot of what it takes to get along. That was me sort of doing, I can't remember his name. His name is, he was one of the crooners, but he was the guy that did Melancholy Baby. What's his name? His name is, he's British, I think. Oh, gosh, what was his name? I'm gonna just make more water while we're here, because I feel like I don't have enough water, and I might as well just be practical while we're at it. Oh, what was his name? Gosh, no, it wasn't Engelbert Humperdinck. It's like this 20s guy. He was super popular, like a big deal. Gosh. Come to me, my melancholy baby. Come to me, oh honey do. La da 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 da. Oh gosh. Yeah, Mugga. Yeah, that's it. You Mugga, 1920s vaudeville performer. What's his? Gosh. Yeah, okay, how we roll, Owen, I gotta tell you, getting this megaphone took me years. I was always looking for, oh man, You have no idea. I was looking for this megaphone for years. I was always trying to find a megaphone, and all I could find were either electronic ones, you know, like bullhorns, or I could find like cardboard megaphones for cheerleaders and yell leaders, and that is not what I wanted. I wanted like a good old school megaphone, and I just couldn't find one. And I was complaining about this to my music librarian, who specializes in like American composition, and he's like, and a good research librarian, he found it. Like he's like, here's one, and he found a spot, a company that makes them, and he gave me their link. And they don't have their name on here anywhere. I kept the tag, but it doesn't have their name to figure out where I got it. Anyway, it was really important for me to get this I really wanted this. No, it wasn't William Frawley. It was, you know, I can tell you, yeah, it's so cool. So, okay, Owen, I have to tell you about this megaphone. It's really important. Oh, let me get this tea. Now just take it. I think one of my problems is I'm going to need to go to sleep at some point in time, but I do not want to do that until it gets a little bit later in the day, so that, you know, I don't wake up like in the middle of the dark. I wonder if I can just like find some food outside is a question that I have. Why are you giving me sad music? Why are you doing that? Don't do that. Just don't. Yes, Be Right, thank you. Be Right, yes. Yes. Be Right got the name for me. It's Al Bowley. Yes, Al Bowley was the crooner I was thinking of. He's a British crooner, and he had a big hit with Melancholy Baby. It's very nice. It's very nice. I have a musicology thing I can tell you, and I would like to play music to explain it to you, and maybe I can in the future. We will see. But the thing is that we didn't get the electric microphone until 1924. So before then, it's all basically all acoustic. And what people, and both mostly, like, let's be honest, like the earlier style was basically just people belted, right? They just sang real loud. You know, good theater training, like you just sing real loud, and you don't need a microphone because you just sing real loud. But you get this sort of style. People always say that crooning starts once you get the microphone, mid-20s, but actually that's not true. We started getting crooners a little bit earlier than that, and they were using megaphones. And the reason why the megaphone is important, sing real loud and sing in a theater with good acoustic, yes. And also smaller theaters. That's one of the things that's actually kind of a problem. It's not a problem like musical theater today is bad. That's not what I mean. But people like, Ethel Merman has that big brassy voice. People are like, oh my God, she can't sing. It's like, oh no, she can. She can sing to the back of the house. That's part of the point, that she sings, her voice carries so you can hear her. But we start making bigger and bigger houses so that we can sell more and more tickets. And basically it's actually not great on singers' voices, either opera or musical theater, because the halls are too big. And so, but now we can just mic them with like little mics here. But the singing style ends up being different. Theaters don't have good acoustic design anymore because we've been spoiled by sound systems. Yeah. And also, it's really expensive to get the school that I teach at. We have a new music building, and by new I mean it's like 20 years old, maybe 15, 20 years old. And they had to go and get a special acoustic designer from, like a specialist from Italy, to come in and help design the hall so that it would be. Actually, it was a bit of a problem. Look, I'm telling you this. I think it's super interesting. And I will I'm going to finish telling about the crooners once I finish this thought, but we needed acoustics that were good enough. So there was basically a conflict. Part of the faculty, this is before I got there, wanted a hall that had acoustics good enough for a string quartet to play, right? We want to be able to play string quartets. But the other part of our faculty did African drumming and jazz, and a hall that is tuned for a string quartet is not going to be really good for music that has lots and lots of drumming and loud percussive sounds. So there was basically tension about how to make this hall. And so we talked to the big, I wasn't there, the acoustician, and they made basically a hall that will work for string quartets. But then we bought baffling so we can like, that you can take off or put back on. So we can put baffling on to make the hall less live so that you can then play electronic or really percussive music. So there's a whole deal with acoustics that that you have to spend a lot of money to get really good acoustics, and a lot of halls nowadays are like, yeah, we'll just put in a sound system. Like, I don't know what y'all are like, but like we did our music when I was in high school. The last high school I was in had one of those cafeteria slash cafetoriums. Like the acoustics were just real bad, but they had loudspeakers, so it was fine. Yeah. Anyway, so here's the point, right? So this is really, oh my gosh, I really want to tell you this because I'm waiting for my water to boil. So I have the time anyway. And I think you'll find this interesting. And I wish I could actually play the examples, but I can probably just sing them instead. But so here's the thing. So people are singing really, really loudly, right? Like a really good belt, back of the house, right? There's a way which you have to sort of sing that way. And that's how everyone is singing. Or the other style would be like, you might sing in a sort of a lighter way if you're singing in salon music, which is basically everybody in the same room. Like I go to your house, you have a salon, I go and hang out in your salon, you play the piano and you sing maybe. Parlor music, they'd call it. So parlor music was also not particularly super loud. But around like, I would say the teens, a new style of singing comes out called crooning. And what we think of crooning now is not what crooning was like then. There was a big shift in the sound of crooning that starts with Bing Crosby, basically. So early crooners, now, Al Bowley is one, Jean Sablon is one in France, but in the US you get Rudy Valley is a big one, Whispering Jack. There are a bunch of these crooners. We have the Guthrie here in the Twin Cities. Ooh. If you can find old theater houses, you can get some amazing acoustics. Oops, that was not what I meant to do. Okay, so what's other? I think crooning started in the U.S. as part of the. This is what I'm going to say is a little bit tricky because. Each of the different countries has a slightly different popular music tradition that's happening at this moment, right? So the United States, we have vaudeville. In the UK, you have music hall. In France and Germany, like in continental Europe, you have cabaret. And those are all slightly different traditions. They're related. They're similar to each other, but just slightly different. But if you listen to like early music hall performers, there's a lot of shouting, right? And a lot of early vaudeville performers also do a lot of shouting. There's just basically a lot of shouting because, you know, you got to fill the hall. But I would say that basically crooning, and some people would not say this, but they don't, that's because they have some bias in terms of how they're going to describe certain things. But, and also there's some, okay, look. Back up, I need to tell you this thing before we start, and that is ragtime and jazz were not always thought of as completely separate genres. We think of them as separate now, but like in 1915, they were not that completely different as a genre. And I say this because the reason why I bring this up is this is important because I was going to say the jazz age, but really we have to back it up to the age of ragtime, which is almost the same thing as jazz. It's like they're different genres, but also not different genres. It's complicated. But the point is, when ragtime makes it big in the US, it also hits overseas. Was crooning part of the jazz age or something? This is part of the problem. You can say it's part of the jazz age, but I'm telling you it starts a little bit earlier, which would be before the jazz age, except that during the time of ragtime, except that ragtime and jazz were not all that separate. Were not all that separate in the late teens, early 20s. Late teens is really what I'd say. So we will often think of the jazz age as starting in 1924. Like the first jazz recordings, depending on how you want to define it, are like 1915, 1916. It's a little around there. But the jazz age, as we think of it, really starts in 1924, which is acoustic recording, electric recording, but also when the Charleston comes out, the song The Charleston, and it sort of hits Europe, it goes everywhere, and all of a sudden, like, there's jazz everywhere. But the thing is that ragtime is doing the same things that jazz is doing just about 10 years earlier. And the line between ragtime, band ragtime and jazz is very, very unclear. One of the things that ends up happening is that all of the, yeah, that's right, Charleston, born in Carolina, is that a lot of the people who are really important in ragtime, James Reese Europe, Vernon Castle. There are a bunch of people who are really important in sort of what ragtime was. They all died, right? Basically like 1918, 1919. And so with all of them dead, a lot of the things that were part of ragtime just start being called jazz. So like we kind of lose the term ragtime and just call everything jazz. The line is super, super blurry. But the point is that ragtime and jazz are doing similar things. Let me just take all of this. And then what I'm going to do is we're in the middle of the day. You know what? I'm going to see if I can find food. I don't know if I can, but we're going to just see if I'm carrying a lot of stuff and I am not, I don't have the extra weight bonus, probably because I'm hungry and thirsty and tired. And I probably should just sleep. But we're going to take a little mosey, just like a little walk, just to see what we get. Welcome to Musicology, where the games are made up and the lines don't matter. Well, so this is fascinating. I would have assumed crooning was helped by early radios, it seems. Yeah, okay, so this is, right. Owen, radio is super, super important, and this is where I wanted to get to, because this is like really, really interesting. But we're going to start, we have to start before then. So the thing is, we think of crooning as basically, when people talk about crooning, especially even at the time, they're going to talk about it in relationship to radio 100% and the microphone 100%. And that's really, really important. We can't really think about it otherwise, except that it actually does happen earlier. It happens before the microphone and radio and all of that. It starts happening in like, but it starts happening with a megaphone. That's the whole point of the story, because I want to tell you about the crooning. So, am I remember correctly that ragtime was more popular quicker in Europe? No, it was popular in both spaces really, really quickly. And actually, I think it hit in the U.S. Well, because the thing is, it was made basically, ragtime was basically invented by Black people in the Midwest, like St. Louis, and sort of, I'm going to just see if we can find food in that area. And then it goes from, oh, look, there's a deer. I've not been yet successful. Like, maybe we can kill this deer and then there's a lot of deer. Let's hope we can kill a deer and get food, because hey, Shawtails, because if we can get some food, then we maybe won't die. And I'm really excited about that. I will note that we don't have a lot of bullets, but hey, I'm here for trying to find food desperately and seeing if we can get some. So I suppose what I would say, right, and this is sort of important to think about, is that, oh, that's a dead body. Let's check it out. The ways in which, so basically one thing to note is that ragtime and jazz were not originally, is that Santa Claus? Genres, the way we think about it, they were playing techniques, right? Somebody would say, hey, rag up that song, is what they would say, right? They became genres, but they were not originally genres. They were performance techniques, right? So they were originally verbs, right? Ragtime was not a noun, it was a verb. You would rag something. And also jazz was not a noun, it was a verb. You would jazz something. First you would rag something and then you would jazz something. So coming out of the Midwest, there was a bar in St. Louis, Missouri called Turpin's. It was like a black bar, and all these piano players would go to this bar. And what you would do is that you would take a song, usually a march, because that's what the people were playing. Sort of like a, what's his face? If that is Santa, do you have to put on the suit and take up the job? I hope not. That would be awful. Because like, I don't have food. Hey, look, guess what, everybody? I wasn't paying attention, but I am seeing some cat tails, and you can eat those. And I am going to, because I am dying. Let's just real quick. Let's just eat that. I think I only have one, and it's not a lot, but hey, Baltail. All right, so, oh, there's some over there. We're going to kill a deer, hopefully, but we may not. So one way or the other, we're going to eat those cattails. All right, so ragging was something you did, right? So at this point in time, we're like into the 19th century. What was really, really popular, like what was very, very popular music-wise was marches. The Sousa band, Stars and Stripes Forever, Washington Post March, like marches were really, really popular. Da 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 da. Where are you leaving? I would like to point out that those deer left me. And yes, and then you jazz it up, right? But at first you would actually rag it up. That was the first thing that they do, that you would actually rag the marches. And what that meant was that you would, what ragging meant was you would actually add syncopation, usually to the right hand. So you'd have like a good steady left hand, the march beat in the left hand, and you would improvise syncopations with the right hand. Or if you're on a piano, like, if you're in a band, right? And they also, like, we think of ragtime as like a piano-based music, but they also had bands that we might think of as jazz bands, but they didn't call it that at the time. So you'd get basically people improvising and playing around with these marches, and that would be ragging it up. And then people started making new songs, and those songs, of course, were we called them ragtime songs at that point in time. Don't eat cattails. And so you would get the practice of jazzing, of basically ragging up a march is what gives you ragtime. But the thing about this is that the non-black people, the white people, were like, oh my gosh, what is this wild syncopation? Specifically young people, right? They're like, this is amazing. We love all this wild ragtime music. And so that it was dance music, right? So people would dance one-steps, foxtrots, sort of, there were all these various, what it is to not be on Spiral, so it can actually has classes. Well, this is probably true. I'm going to try to shoot this center mass. I have to wait till my breath comes back. I hope I can kill one of these things, because I am, I'm going to try low. Oh, hey, got it. I have now a deer, and I am going to skin it and have all of that meat and go back to that place. Yeah, I thank you, and I got it. I am very excited that I'm not going to die. Oh, that's a lot of meat, everybody. I'm going to be a little over encumbered. That's true. I'm not going to, but I actually think I don't need those guts though. But I actually think I need food or I'll die. I know. Look, I understand that you're super hungry. Like, I do get it. I'm not, Mackenzie, I'm not ignorant of your hunger right now. You just have to work with me. Thanks, right? Now I'm super slow at the moment. I do get that, but we're just going to take our slow selves back to that campsite. It's not that far. We will cook it all up, then we'll eat it, and then we won't have it, and we'll be under encumbered again. And life will be grand. Okay. I remembered Krell. I was like, oh yeah. So how over encumbered am I right now? Not that I'm going to do anything about it. Oh, I'm super over encumbered. Sweet. All right. Well, cool. Oh, wait. I'm going to eat those cat stalks. Boom. Yeah, we're going to take in the scenery. It'll be great. I'm really close to safety. I think we'll be fine. Okay, so just want to tell you. So, right, young people started dancing to ragtime music, to ragtime bands, like all the big ragtime dances. And it was thought of as being very rebellious, right? And very countercultural, right? And old fuddy-duddies got real mad and they wrote awesome articles about how terrible it is that people are listening to syncopation, and syncopation is bad for your brain and you'll have brain seizures or kill people, whatever, if you listen to the terrible, dangerous ragtime. And it was this big deal. And this man named James Reese Europe, who was a really important band leader, he was a ragtime band leader. World War I happens, everybody gets drafted. He creates an all-black marching band called the Harlem Hellfighters, and they go to Europe for World War I, and they bring with them basically ragtime music, and they bring it to Europe right during World War I, and then that becomes hugely popular in Europe. Now, what people will say now in retrospect, because of their agenda, is that he was basically, they would call him the first jazz band. That's not true. It's not true at all. But they'll call him a jazz band, and they'll say that he brought jazz to Europe. But they do that because jazz is the category we still use today, but at the time they were calling him ragtime. But also the line between jazz and ragtime was very slim. Everybody dies in World War I, everybody's super traumatized. You come back from World War One. The main people who are associated with ragtime are dead. So many of the people, what they're doing is now just being called jazz. And it's the same thing, right? Now you're jazzing up something. And they like early jazz would do rags and also blues. And they're doing syncopation. Usually jazz adds more syncopation. Early jazz just had more syncopation than old jazz, than ragtime. But like you'd syncopate both the left and the right. It's cool. But here's the thing, and this is really sort of important to sort of think about. When people came back from World War One, stop jazzing up in here. This is a family stream. I'm jazzing it up, Krellin. I'm jazzing it up. People came back from World War One and they were super traumatized. There was a lot of traumatized people, or people who were too young to go to World War One, but they're like, what is the world? What is the world that we live in? Like, our world is kind of awful and miserable. And also, and really a lot of the upsetness was about the structures, especially in Europe. There's a lot of discussion about, yeah, I know. Here, you can have a cup of coffee. How about that? Have a cup of coffee. Rosehip tea. No. Let's give you some coffee. Why don't we? Because coffee, I feel like, has some calories, right? Yes. So here, drink it up. Just drink some coffee. Get yourself some calories. Stop complaining so much. We're going to get you to a fire, and then we're going to cook up that meat, and you won't be over encumbered. You'll have a sleep. It'll be fine. Just keep moving. So anyway, one of the things that was like really important about the ragtime / jazz moment, like post World War One, is that, and especially in Europe, the United States is a little bit different because the motivation goes a little bit, the direction is a little bit different in ways that are actually a little bit creepy, but don't worry about it. So in Europe, right, all those people dealt with World War One, and it was awful. And the way that it worked was that the framing was that war was really good for you. That it's like every young man should go to war and like stab some people with some bayonets. It's like healthy, and it's glorious, and it is a positive thing, and it's like what you should do. And like, and some people are like, should we go to war? Like, well, but it's good for you, right? Like, this is what civilization's all about. So all these young people went to war because they were told that that's what you're supposed to do, like as just part of like growing up, you know? And that's what civilization's about. And World War I was very different from wars beforehand, and it was awful. They just saw people's faces melting off because of mustard gas. It was just like this really, really awful, brutal war, and nobody felt pretty good about it, and it just dragged on forever. And when people came back, the reason why we have the Jazz Age at all is because people came back from World War I and they thought, wait a minute. So all of everything that is great about Europe, everything that we've been told is like how we're supposed to be led to World War I, the Great War, screw that. And so a lot of the young people, I know you have to relax. A lot of the young people basically decided to reject sort of European standards of their parents. And one of the ways that they signaled their rejection of all the things that came before was by embracing Black music. Civilization about 7 people, truly different times. But war was different than war was totally different than what they saw in War One. And they're like, oh gosh, right? So it became a lot of rejecting European older standards of everything. And part of that meant embracing Black music. Part of that meant sort of like an interest in Asian art. There's a huge interest in Asian art. There was a huge interest in Black music, which, you know, was ragtime then called jazz. Blues as well. There was the rise of sort of queer identities. Women get the vote, right, in 1920 in the U.S., start cutting their hair short. Basically, there's gender roles are upended. Gender norms are upended. Gender presentation. So, like, basically, there's a real shift in young people just basically are like, that's it. Nope, we're doing something totally different. And I'm going to save right now, by the way, because I feel like I'm going to die of starvation. And I just feel like I should probably save right now, just in case. So there's a real challenging of gender norms, of sexuality norms, of everything. People start moving to cities. People start like drinking and dancing. Like young people no longer wait for a chaperone to hang out. It's just like a massive, massive sort of shift. Isn't Polynesian art a thing? Oh, yes. Tikis. Oh yeah, yeah. Tikis are a little bit later. But Polynesian stuff is very big. Polynesian things, also Latin music, but Latin music sort of falls under jazz as well because like the tango is considered part of the jazz age. So a lot of like Latin music, Polynesian music, like basically there's a real interest overall in not your dad's old Europe in terms of everything. I mean, everything shifts and changes. Hawkeye says, before World War I, you could be in a war with lots of battles, can easily not actually shoot anyone, right? Because muskets were hard to aim. Absolutely, yes. And by the time of World War I, but also another thing that was actually really difficult about World War I was that medicine got better. So a lot of people who would have just died did not die. And so you had a lot of very disfigured people wandering around. And that was a big shift before, because before a lot of the horrors of war just died on the battlefield, but now they're hanging out with you after the war. So there's a lot of rejection of norms, and part of that came into, right, this embrace of ragtime and jazz. But this is where we get crooners, right? This is where the whole story of crooners comes back to, and this is really important because there are basically two phases of crooners. There's the first phase, which is in the 20s, and then there's the second phase, which starts basically in the big backlash that happens in the 1930s. So I wonder, I'm giving a talk. I'm going to talk about the new woman. I wonder if I'm going to talk about new men. Anyway, so what is an early crooner? And this is super, super important because when people now think about crooners, ooh, I am in a starvation place. That's bad. I'm going to just have another cup of coffee. I don't know if that will save me, but let's just do that. Let's just drink that coffee and hopefully it'll just give us a little bit. Oh, you know what else we could do? Yeah, that's it. We're going to keep moving. So when people now think about crooners, right? They really only know the backlash crooners, which is going to be 30s onwards, right? You're going to think like, if you think crooner, you're probably going to think Sinatra maybe, right? Like, that's why the lady is a tramp.
Name game.
I will finish that story in a second. The name game. Come on, everybody. I say, now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name. I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F. Or an M will appear. And then I say bo at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fan, or info. Then I say the name again with an F, very plain, then a fee, fi, and a mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. And Bar Garwin, and Bar Garwin, Bar Garwin, Bar Garwin, banana, fan, from Bar Garwin, fee, fi, Bar Garwin, and Bar Garwin, the name game. Woo! So excited, everybody. I'm so excited. Thank you for that resub. Woo! Yeah, I mean, he's just so slow right now because, he's just like wasting time. I'm going to just right now, I'm going to go and drink. I have a sprained wrist. Yeah, I got it. Let's just drink, because all we got is, let's drink some tea. That'll give us a couple more calories. Not a lot, but it'll hopefully keep us. I know it didn't do anything, game. I just wanted the calories. Gosh. Once we get to that fire, we can cook up the stuff and we'll be okay. We just got to get to the fire, and then we'll be okay. We'll eat our food. It'll be fine. We just have to make it there before we get killed by wolves. That's it. B. Wright says, I know this isn't crooners, but it is jazz. Have you heard of Humphrey Lyttelton? As well as being a great musician, he was an amazing improvisational comedian as chairman of a crazy radio program that started in the 1960s on the BBC. Oh, actually, I don't know him. Could you put a link in our Discord? Because I want to hear it. I'm very excited. Yes, right. So we're thinking about like Sinatra, like as a crooner, like later Sinatra, Dean Martin, that kind of stuff. But that is not at all what crooners were like in the beginning. Crooners in the beginning were very much new men, right? So they were very pushing back against the kind of gender norms, masculine gender norms of before, and sort of creating a new kind of masculinity. So early crooners tended to sing very high, very, very sweet, very romantic songs. And they often, and here's the thing, you know how before, because we didn't have microphones, you would have to belt really loud, have a lot of power in your voice. They, still don't have microphones yet, started using megaphones so that they didn't have to sing with big power, right? They didn't have to like...
It's gonna get a lot colder soon.
I know, you just have to keep going. They didn't have to belt, right? So rather than singing with lots of power, they could sing very softly. So one of the things that marks crooning, the beginning of crooning, is that it was mostly young men who would sing without power, very soft. One of the crooners is called Whispering Jack, right? Very soft songs of love and romance where they were very sad very often, in a very, very high voice. And they would use the megaphone so that it could be heard so the megaphone would actually project the power so they could sing quite softly. So rather than singing something like what would be a good song that would be from before then? I was just dancing with a slice of pizza in my hand because it's not like one can resist dancing. Oh, also, I want a good slice of pizza. All right, let's see. We just had some reishi tea. Let's have some rosehip tea. Let's get some calories in our body. Look, we are just like trying real hard to get calories so we don't die. Once we're gonna have food real soon. Oh my gosh, the 1920s were so emo. The counterpoint of the crooner was the torch singer. There are a number of torch singers, and I mean, there were also flappers, but like the torch singer would they'd be these women who would sing these like really super sad songs about like their men being the worst. And people would sit in these clubs and weep. Like they'd go to see these torch singers and they would just start crying, right? Like all these guys would be like, oh my God, it's so sad. 1920 was like a weird trip because everybody was super, super emo, very, very, it's very emo. There's like, all of that, 100%. And so like, let me think of like a song that would be like 1890s, like a pre-crooner style song would be something like maybe, let me think. No, that's a ragtime song. We're not something a little bit earlier than that. As if they wanted a running start for the... Well, but the thing is the Great Depression becomes really, really different, and that's really fascinating because once you get the Great Depression, Hollywood's all happy, happy, happy all the time. Like, once we get to the Depression, well, we'll get there. So, like, a good song would be something like, let me think. Ooh, it's hard because I don't have a lot of recordings from this time period. Maybe something like, oh, okay, I got one for you. Something like, it doesn't even look like I'm moving, but I am, I know it. How's it go? I'm a Yankee Doodle dandy, a Yankee Doodle do or die, a real live nephew of my Uncle Sam, born on the 4th of July. I've got a Yankee Doodle sweetheart. Right, like it's a real big, big sound that you're going for, right? That'd be like remember that just before the 1920s was the worst pandemic in modern history. Yep. And that's actually kind of what ended World War I, is because everybody was dying, and they're like, well, I'm not done with that one. So, like, Yankee Doodle Dandy would be a pretty good example of one of these really big, sort of loud, brassy songs from the pre-crooner era. Maybe something like, after you've gone and left me crying, after you've gone, there's no denying, you'll feel blue, you'll feel sad, you lost the bestest guy you ever had. Like, it's a real sort of big, big sound. Yeah, good old George M. Right, so, like, you had a real, like, where's my gate? It's over here. So you had, like, a really, really big, big sound. But then crooners, pandemic, we're running out of our manual resources. Yep. And so, look, oh gosh, sorry. Let me look, I'll get you some tea. It's fine. We're just give me a second. Don't die on me. Here you go. Have some coffee. Just have a little bit of coffee. We'll get you in there. You won't die. We will be fine. The world will not end. We'll get you to the fire because I'm sure the fire's there somewhere, I hope. And then we'll cook some, like, it'll be fine, Mackenzie. By the way, I'm just going to notice that Mackenzie's not complaining right now, and that's a little disconcerting. Just going to note that for the record. That there's the fire. Yeah, I'm just a little distressed that he's not complaining about anything because it's not good for him. So that he's not complaining is kind of a bad sign. Yeah. Okay, so, right, instead of this big brassy, like, ba-ba-ba, right, kind of a thing, or for those in the UK, you can think about, like, some of your good music hall singers, right, who kind of, like, shout some of those great tunes. I might think of, like, or I'm thinking about, like, somebody like Vesta Tilley, who's, like, something like, I'm Burlington Bertie from Bow, like, these, like, real, like, this kind of a thing. But the crooners, right, are not projecting that way. They use the megaphone instead. And so you get something like, by the way, where is our front gate here, everybody? I would like, I just want to find the way in. It's all I want. I feel like we're right over here. This is it. When I come inside, I'm going to shut the gate. We're going to go to that fire. We're going to make some food. And we're not going to die. This is my goal for us right now is not dying. Hello, gate. Awesome. Gate's closed. We just have to make it to that fire, and we're going to be okay. So, right, so these crooners are usually tall and thin, or short and thin, but usually kind of like thin. Now he's complaining. They're usually quite thin, very pretty. They might be wearing a girdle or something like a corset. They might be wearing some makeup. Usually quite young, clean shaven, as opposed to we are moving towards a fire. It doesn't look like it, but we totally are. It's just that we're moving kind of slowly and we're tired. Oh gosh. Here, have a cup of tea. Just drink some tea. You'll be fine. Okay. Whew. Here we go. We're just on our way. Once we get there. So rather than that big brassy sound, you're going to get something like, what's one of my favorite Korean songs? You get something like, oh, here you go. Have you ever seen a dream walking? Well, I did. Have you ever seen a dream talking? Well, I did. Have you ever seen heaven right in your arms? Saying, I love you, I do. But the dream that was walking and the dream that was talking and the heaven in my arms was you. Or something like, oh, this is a good one. This is this Rudy Valley? Maybe? Maybe not. Maybe? Sleepy time, gal. How's that song start? It starts like, basically he's got his girlfriend, and his girlfriend's a flapper, and all she wants to do is like dance all night to like 4 o'clock in the morning, and he's like, oh, I can't handle it. So it's like, sleepy time, gal. When all your dancing is through, sleepy time, gal, I'll build a cottage for two. Like, it's this kind of like, or, of course, the famous, come to me, my melancholy baby. And it's usually very sad and like, I'm so in love with you and you broke my heart or like, I'll be true to you forever. It's a very, very sort of very emo style of singing, and it doesn't have a lot of power to it, on purpose, right? Like it's sort of, made to be, like you can't really hear them unless they're amplified, right? And they use the original, yeah. Right, no, more, not really wake me up because that's too high energy. It's got to be way more sad than that. You know what I mean? Like it's you need it to be sadder. Like you need sadder music for that one. But it's all like what other good ones? Other good. I mean, J'attendrai, like that's J'attendrai le jour et la nuit, j'attendrai toujours ton retour. Right, that kind of thing, which is like ooh, just had a thought. Let's pass the time till it's ready. And I'm going to eat this right now because I'm going to eat a lot of this venison, aren't I? That's gonna, I have so much, hopefully, yeah, so, Yeah. Or you know the song let's just eat it. You know the song uh Shine on Harvest Moon. Shine on Harvest Moon, right? So that's like another great crooner song. That one goes how does it start? I play it on the banjo, so let me see if I can remember it. Oh, look at all this food. Oh, I feel so good with my life right now. It is like my life is so much better than it was before we started this. I can't kind of handle how much better my life is. So you're gonna get like a so Shine on Harvest Moon, it goes the night. So you go like hold on. The night was mighty dark, so you could hardly see, but the moon refused to shine. A couple sitting underneath a willow tree, for love they pine. The little maid was kind afraid of darkness, so she said, I guess I'll go. The boy began to sigh, look up at the sky, told the moon his little tale of woe. Oh, shine on, harvest moon, up in the sky. I ain't had no lovin' since January, February, June, or July. Snow time ain't no time to stay outdoors and spoon. So shine on, harvest moon, for me and my gal. Right, it's just a very, it's a very sort of like, it's a very emo sort of sound, right? Owen says, so this has the megaphone in halls and theaters, but where does this start off? Clubs are out of another genre. So mostly it's gonna be happening in clubs, right? So like you're going to have, well, clubs is, I suppose what we'd call them now, but like they're halls, like small halls, often dance clubs, or is where this can happen. So like dance halls where people are gonna be playing jazz, and they've got like the singers gonna be singing in front of like a jazz band, and they don't have a microphone yet, so they're using the megaphone to sort of cover over that, and they're singing this particular very weepy style, sort of vaudeville cabaret halls, yeah. And let's pass the time till it's ready. And then let's just take this, which I'm feeling real good about. And then, by the way, I'm going to cook all of my meat because raw meat attracts bad things. And I would just like to have that not murder me, you know? So this becomes like the whole, like this is like what's popular and what's happening for most of the 20s, right? We get this, there's this really sweet sound. And then of course it gets on radio, right? So we start getting radio. So we now start getting crooners on the radio. And I don't know how to tell you how many people lost their minds when this happened. It was a problem for some people and also awesome for other people. There was basically a panic. And the panic was that once we start getting the microphone and the radio, rather than what I was doing, which is still like, you're still projecting, all of a sudden you can start getting the crooners singing into a microphone in the radio. So you get something like, let me think of a really good one. I think my Rudy Valley songs. Oh gosh, there's so many songs about just like being so sad because, by the way, I'm going to just, while we're here, I'm going to cook more coffee because I feel like I only have 1 cup of coffee left, and we might as well do that because, you know how our life is. Our life is going to be that way. We're also going to go to sleep just soon. Something like, let me think, something like, all these like love songs, like How I Love You and all that, and You Hurt Me So, and I Will Die For You, all that kind of stuff, But all of a sudden now the crooners are singing in the radio, oh, life is just a bowl of cherries, that kind of a thing. But so now you get like, shine on, harvest moon, up in the sky. I ain't had no lovin' since January, February, June, or July. And so this becomes a bit of a problem because I don't know, you probably don't know this. Early radio you wore with headphones. So people who were listening to the radio back in the early days listened to them on headphones because that's what you had. Where did my... I hope I didn't drink that. I hope I just stored it. Whatever. Right. So is number one crush a crooner song? I could imagine, actually, yes. Right. And so you had all these women listening to these crooners on their headsets, and the crooner, rather than like, because the thing about like singing like bold and brash, hello my baby, hello my honey, hello my ragtime gal, you imagine that I'm standing farther away from you, right? But if I'm singing, j'attendrai le jour et la nuit, j'attendrai toujours, which is like, I will wait for you night and day, and like my burning desire, all that kind of stuff. Oh, there's that one, what's that one song? Heart and Soul, heart and soul, I fell in love with you, heart and soul, like any fool would do, madly, right, that kind of thing. And so all of a sudden, when you sing into a microphone and you're right here, what you hear is a voice that is probably this far away from your ears. So all of a sudden, we've got these young women listening to these very, very sort of smooth and gentle and high-voiced men, maybe wearing makeup, singing right into their ears about how much they love them and how much they would die for them. And it's, yeah, that was a song that Luke was singing at Bricktops. Yes, indeed. And it's way intimate. Like, crooning as a style is super intimate. And the crooners themselves are also projecting an air of vulnerability, right? Like, they are very, very vulnerable. They're not macho in any kind of a way. Like, that is not the vibe they're going for. They're going for the, like, I'm so sad and I love you so desperately. It's very romantic and it's not macho. These are not kinds of guys that would want to fight in a war, right? This is part of the thing that happens, is that that whole thing of like men fight in wars and women stay at home. Like, the 20s are like, oh yeah, F that. Like, we guys are going to like sing about how like we don't want to fight in wars. We want to like sit around crying over some gal that we like. And the women are going to be like, I'm a flapper. I'm going to dance until 4 a.m. and I'm not getting married. I'm not having kids. I'm going to just like cut my hair short and go wild, right? So there's all this stuff happening. And when this was people lost their minds about these crooners. They thought they were, oh, absolutely. Tormented artist lover. Oh, absolutely. Right. And people thought this was so inappropriate. Well, by people, I mean like old people, you know what I mean? Like, old people were like, what is this? We cannot handle this. And so this new man, right, this new crooner, they switch from the megaphone to the microphone, and it's very intimate. It's like a little bit too intimate for old people. And it's not, there's a lot of songs about singing, about dreaming, about how like I dream and I dream of you, and when I'm asleep I dream of you. There's a lot of that, right? These are not men who get up and like punch people. That's not their vibe. And the women are like, I don't care about love, I'm just doing my thing, right? And so there's all of that. And this is like the 20s, right? You've got all this sort of madness. And by madness, you just get like people doing new stuff. Jer, radio's corrupting the youth? Absolutely. People are like, radio's corrupting the youth. Crooners are corrupting the youth. Like, jazz is corrupting the youth. Like, everything's corrupting the youth. And everybody's like losing their mind. And the youth is like, we hate you. We don't like your values. We do not want to do the things that you do. And this generation is actually a little micro generation in between two larger generations. I kind of do a crooner cover of Number One Crush. You totally should. You should. There's a guy, a German guy, he does like 1920s kind of crooner styles, and he does a version of Oops, I Did It Again. Oops, I did it again. I played with your heart, right? It's I lost in the game. Oh, baby, baby, right? It's a very sort of 20s crooner style. But what's interesting So is My Bunny a crooner tune? Well, I think it could be. I think it could actually, absolutely. What's happening here? Oh, let's just, why don't we drink this tea while we're here? It'll make us feel better. And then I think we're gonna, go to sleep. And we are going to drink our water. We could use more water, but we'll deal with that later. And y'all, I feel so good about our life right now. Like, our life, I don't know if you understand, is actually gonna be good. I would like, however, to get my bedroll. Just, come on, bedroll. Okay, let's see what we can do. Whoop, 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 whoop. Bedroll! Bedroll. Come on. All right. And we're gonna sleep. So, this is the deal. And this is actually, hey, Anagate, the spine of steam powered is a crooner. So this is a thing that I'm actually pretty invested in as a scholar. I'm really interested in, oh, look at that. The end of the, I wonder if the reason why that wasn't what I wanted. Oh, well. I wonder if the reason why we couldn't put our mat down earlier is because of those pick up, because of those cans. I wonder about that. So, feeling pretty good. Let's have some meat, and let's just eat that, drink some water, and then save. And then, you know what though? I kind of worry about our lack of water. I feel like we should have a bit more water than we currently have. Let's do that. I just want to fill up on water. I know it'll make us a little bit heavy, but I don't know what's going to happen to us in the future, and I kind of would like to have water. So here's the thing, and this is actually like the time period that I'm super interested in. Let's just take all of this and do that, and let's go. We're kind of heavy at the moment. We are a little heavy at the moment. Kind of heavy. But I think we're going to need these things for later. And we'll just ditch things if we have to. Like, we've got like 1, 2, 3. We've got like 5 pounds worth of meat right now, but we are going to eat that meat. So, and I hope that I hope we can learn how to make shoes, and then we will not have as many shoes as we currently have. We're going to be a little over encumbered, but we will work through it. I promise. We'll work through it. Just, okay. All right, let's go. Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing that happens. So, 1933, 1929, the stock market crashes in the United States, and it becomes this global economic turndown. So there's this massive turndown that happens economically that hits a lot of people, hits a lot of countries. And in this big turndown, it's like 29, I think, is being like really beginning of the end of like this sort of radical moment. Like you have like the Harlem Renaissance, you have queer rights, you have women's rights, you have labor rights, like sort of lots of communists and union organizing. You have like this cultural shift. Like there's like 1918 to like 1929 is this really radical space. We get this big, huge economic downturn, and everyone's like, we're going to blame some people for that. And we're going to blame the fact that young people are changing gender norms and sexuality norms and all of these things, and moving away, there's all this like stuff that happens there. And I wonder when we're going to get that weird Aurora Borealis thing happening again. Anyway, so this turn happens. Hitler comes to power in 1933. Basically there's like a general sort of a conservative turn that happens in a lot of countries, including the US. And one of the things that happens in that conservative turn is that we're going to just drink some water, kind of nice, lessen how heavy our packs are. It's cool. One of the things that happens is that there's a real strong push to go back to narrow gender norms. So whereas in the 1920s, women were cutting their hair short and wearing dresses that did not show curves, or wearing men's suits, and men were putting rouge on and shave their faces, like, because men would always wear like facial hair before then. Like, you know, they'd shave their faces, look very clean shaven. There's like a whole sort of just different shift. I'm going to pause this for a moment. And so I can not lose this point. So there's like a real upending of oh, wait, sorry. Also, hey, Two Knees Roof wants me to, oh, well, somebody just ban them because I don't want spammers. And also you have to remember, this is also really important for the US at least. In the US, we have prohibition from 1920 to 1933. And this is very important because during prohibition, it's illegal, right? Alcohol is illegal. And everybody, that's ridiculous. And so all these people who would never have broken the law now become lawbreakers, right? They become lawbreakers because they want to drink alcohol. And then in order to get alcohol, you have to go to speakeasies, which are illegal drug dens run by the mafia. And the drug is alcohol, also cocaine and marijuana, right? So all of a sudden people who might have been law abiding are now hanging out with people of color, prostitutes, gangsters, queer people, from classes differently than they would have, because like oftentimes you kind of stay in your own class. Now different people of different classes. And there's a general disrespect for the law that happens because people think the law is kind of ridiculous. And so there's a real loosening of a lot of things that happened in the 1920s. And then 1933, we repeal prohibition. There's a bunch of things that happen right around like 33, between like 30 and 35, that really are about moving towards a more conservative presentation of things, and especially start gearing up towards war. It's not going to be useful if men don't want to fight and women don't want to have lots of kids, right? So there's a real push socially to restrict gay rights, to restrict the kind of gender presentations that were happening, the kind of class presentations that were happening. There's a real huge backlash that happens. And you can see it in fashion, of course, right? So women stop having the little short flapper cuts. They start doing like the Marcel wave, right? The sort of the finger waves. They start wearing dresses that are bias cut that kind of show off their figures. Men's fashion start emphasizing sort of like bigger shoulders again, right? So it becomes like a, right, there's like a different aesthetic that happens. And you can see it with crooning, right? This is like where masculinity shifts happens with crooning. Whereas before in the 20s, you're going to get these like very sort of sleepy, weepy, sad emo boys who like never want to fight. And they're very like, oh, you know, right? They just don't want to be like macho, like violent dudes. They're not into it. They're into like singing about how much they love this gal and how, you know, that's all. And they sing with this high, sweet voice, right? Very close to the mic. And when the big shift happens basically with Bing Crosby. So Bing Crosby, I could think of as being one of the first of the new style of crooners, the sort of backlash crooners. And the backlash crooners sing with a deeper voice, and they're womanizers, but not romantic. And so like, instead of something like, you know, j'attendrai le jour et la nuit, j'attendrai toujours ton retour. You're going to get something like, you know, she gets too hungry for dinner at 8. And that's more Sinatra, but like Bing Crosby, he drops his voice down much lower. He sings much lower in his voice. You know, ba 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 boom. And his persona is not like the sweet romantic boy, but like the womanizer who's a little drunk, might pinch your butt, kind of a manly man who gets into shenanigans and hijinks, gets into trouble quite a lot. And he's going to sing in a much lower voice. His singing style's not going to be as like, oh, less sighing. Like early crooners have to do a lot of sighing in their voices, a lot of like, oh, that kind of thing, a lot of that. And there's not gonna be that anymore, right? Now it's gonna be like a bit punchier. And you can also see it like the shift from somebody like Fred Astaire, who's quite sort of slim, boyish, sort of romantic, somebody like Gene Kelly, elegant, right? So like, somebody like Fred Astaire is very elegant. And then of course, Gene Kelly is much more like sporty, as the best way to put it, right? Like his dancing is sort of seen as heavier, more manly, basically. And he's broader of a figure. So you get that shift from that kind of like thin figure who's not particularly muscular, to be honest, right? And sort of emo to a much more sort of like a slightly burlier sort of dude type with a lower voice who is not romantic. He likes sex, right? He likes having sex with the ladies. And so you have this shift, right, from that early crooner style to this later crooner style, which is part of this like general push towards trying to encourage men to sort of not reject nationalism and warlikeness, and trying to get women not to reject having jobs and voting and smoking and doing what they want to do, but like stay home and have kids. So there's a real big push that starts hitting in the 1930s towards traditional, and I say traditional gender roles, except that they're brand new, because that's not exactly how men and women were before the 1920s, because before the 1920s, men and women were mostly living on farms, right? Like the vast majority of people lived in rural spaces rather than urban spaces before the 1920s. The 1920s is like the big shift towards urban spaces. So we basically just invented brand new gender norms, like post 1920s, to try to encourage people to go to war, which is basically where we were headed. And we sort of scapegoated all the social progress that happened in the 1920s as being like the downfall of everything in order to sort of encourage people to sort of shift. And the shift of crooning styles, right? From that kind of early sweet sound to this kind of more womanizer sound, I suppose, like kind of macho womanizer sound, is this shift from early crooners to later crooners. Okay, your favorite Irish CD folk set is by Bing. Oh, there's like a really interesting what's her name? I can't remember her name. There's a singer. No, wrong person. There's a famous. She was Irish. She came to the United States, had a big film career in like the 30s, 40s. Oh, I can't remember her name. I mean, coming back from World War I understand. Oh yeah, no, Wanderings. They didn't, right? Because the thing is, there was a lot of anti-war sentiment after World War I. A lot of anti-war sentiment and a lot of sentimentality and a lot of deciding that this idea that men should be very violent was a bad idea, and they just didn't want to do it. And also, this was really interesting, a real turn away from nationalism, which was what jazz was doing in some ways. Is there a reason why you're not putting Mackenzie through his paces while you talk? Yes, because I was going to lose my train of thought, and I was like, Mackenzie, I'm walking into this dam, and I'm going to lose my train of thought. I should save the game, though. And one of the things about jazz, and this is like really important about jazz that a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people think, I've got to figure out how to get to, out of here. Hold on. Access the control room, which I did. Find your way through Carter Hydro Dam. Yeah, that's going to be a little bit tricky, but we will see what we can do. Also, you know what? I think I've got a torch, which I'm going to just use. And it'll be fine. Yeah, it was the war to end all wars, right? But there was a real sense that, like, we could be different kinds of people. And one of the things that's really interesting about jazz that people often don't understand, especially Americans, but, you know, complicated. But jazz went all around the world, right? Jazz in the 20s was everywhere, and all sorts of young people listened to jazz. And one of the things about that is that many people, especially Americans, will be like, oh, that's us spending our culture to other countries, right? Like it's like the rise of American culture. But I think it's important to note that that's not exactly what was happening. The people in those other countries were talking about jazz as American. They're like, this is American, but they didn't actually mean the actual America. They might have said that, but they actually didn't. They actually meant a fantasy of America, that was about youth and rebellion, and it was like a particular fantasy of the United States that framed the United States as young and innovative and basically against their parents, right? Like the United States was young, Europe was old. The United States was wild, Europe was boring, right? So the jazz that they were taking was a kind of fantasy of the United States in a particular kind of way that they were using for themselves, right? Like it was useful to them. Isn't that also the American fantasy of America? It is, but the difference is, they didn't actually care as much about the actual United States. So, for example, they were listening to jazz, but they were very often making their own jazz, right? Like they were not necessarily, like, sure, they would listen to American stuff as well. Dang it. I actually think I can't get through here. I think I might need to use the elevator, but the elevator's got that electricity problem. Also, it's really dark. Give me another second. Let's, I've got one more torch. Let's use that. Atomica! Welcome. So, like, very often what would happen is that they would actually just, like, there were a lot of, like, in England, one of their biggest jazz bands was not some American dude. It was, like, a British jazz band. And in France, they had French jazz bands. And in Japan, they had Japanese jazz band. And the Philippines had Filipino jazz bands. And so, like, they were often making their own jazz. They might call it American because that is useful for them, but it really was about a global youth culture that was rejecting nationalism, right? I'm sure the Aurora will come back. We just have to wait for it. And that's one of the differences, right? They weren't actually interested in America exactly. They were interested in a cosmopolitan, transnational culture, youth culture, right? Like America is useful as an excuse for not wanting to be like super nationalistic, right? So it's like, you know, like, and it wasn't like, I mean, so they talked a lot about America, but they talked about jazz more. Like they were super into that. The idea of like a jazz, let's do this, I suppose. Like a jazz nation, like a group of people who are united in their love of jazz, who don't care so much about going to war. They don't care about like German nationalism or French nationalism, or this is why jazz in the United States ends up being different than jazz abroad. Because in the United States, when you're like, jazz is American, you kind of actually are talking about how great you are as the United States. But when you're like, jazz is American in France, you actually didn't care about America so much. You were just actually wanting to sort of maybe not do that, like, I'm French, let's go to war with Germany, or like, I'm Hungarian, let's go to war with, you know what I mean? Like, that was a little bit not what they wanted, right? So in many ways, the kind of American jazz thing was actually a way to reduce nationalism. I feel like maybe we haven't gone through everything here. Like, I know we pressed a bunch of buttons, but let's see what we can find. Maybe we can find something we missed last time around. I don't know if that's true, but I also don't know if we have to wait for the Aurora to come back. But there is stuff over there, and maybe we can find it. We will see. For some reason, Japanese jazz always comes off as really high energy and positive, even when it has a dark or sad theme. And some of it might be just different familiarity with styles. Was jazz from the places like the Philippines like our jazz, or is it Filipino music jazzed up? So jazz as American is translated to jazz as anti-imperial. Basically, yes, right? So it's outside of the U.S., it wasn't actually about the U.S., also because a lot of things were considered jazz that were not from the United States. Like Cuban rumba was jazz. Like there was a lot of stuff that was from the Americas. Let's call it that way. The Americas. And that was also considered jazz. So it wasn't strictly the US only. Stuff coming out of the Americas more generally was all considered jazz. And so enjoying jazz was a way to be anti-nationalist, basically, right? It was a way to sort of resist nationalism. And that's cool. But there is a reason why all of those countries started banning jazz. There's a reason why Germany banned jazz and Vichy France was like, we don't know about this. Like the reason why sort of nationalistic, like hyper-nationalistic forces started banning jazz and attacking jazz people. Oh, hey, do you think I can climb through this? What do you think? I would like to climb through this, but it does not look like I can. But I would like to. And I feel like it's unfair. I wonder if I can just turn this off and still have lights. Right? They banned jazz because, well, frankly, because the people who were listening to jazz in Europe were listening to jazz because they did not want to engage in...
Time to mess around.
Yeah, can you just maybe like... Well, this is on.
Time to mess around.
Will you relax? We might just actually need the Aurora. But we also, I think, need to get to... I want to climb through that window. That's what I want. I also don't want to lose all of my... what do you call it? All of my... lamp oil. What I'm going to do right now, just so you all know, is I'm going to put a bunch of stuff. There are these lockers over here. I'm going to put a bunch of stuff in these lockers so that I'm not encumbered, and I will come back and get them so we can just kind of wander around a little faster. I'm going to get the stuff back, though. I'm not leaving it here. I'm just going to put it in a locker. That's it. I also am going to turn this lamp off while I do it. But I don't want you to think that I'm going to get rid of these things forever. I'm not. I'm just going to get rid of some of these things at the moment, but not forever. I'm going to put like my fire stuff in there and, you know, just... I just want you to know, just in case you're wondering, I'm not abandoning these things forever. Can I recommend some Japanese jazz? Oh, absolutely. I can definitely, because, you know, I teach a class on the International Jazz Age, you know, basically 1920 to 1935 around the globe. And I have a bunch, I've got like a whole playlist that is wrapped up in that. And so I can definitely, absolutely, 100% recommend some stuff for you. And the question is, the question that was asked was, is it like our jazz or was it Filipino music jazzed up? That's a hard question to answer. It's a combination of both, is what I would say. It's a combination of both. It is a combination of, like sometimes they'll take like French or Japanese or African or whatever sort of music and then jazz it up. Sometimes they'll take American tunes and then translate them into their native language. Sometimes they will take elements, like sometimes they'll take an American tune, but then they will add musical elements that are from their culture. That cloth seems very exciting. You know, I feel like I should... I feel like I should probably use that cloth to repair my clothing so that I've got a little bit, you know, less of that going on. So that looks pretty decent, right? Okay, I'm down to like 39, which I'm not that, so that's pretty good. Okay, no, that's your job. All right, yeah. So I feel like that's good. Now I'm going to repair my clothes. And that will use some of the cloth, right, which will be good. It's supposed rather than anti-imperial, I would say like it's jazz is anti-nationalist, right? So I think that's why you'd put it, like jazz is anti-nationalist, which, by the way, is why all the nationalists were attacking jazz, right? Because it was being used as an anti, also sort of anti-imperial too, I suppose, because the idea of jazz is freedom, right? That's part of the rhetoric that like jazz is freedom. Yeah, so there's a lot of, yeah. Oop, oop, oop. Let's repair this as well. Oh, let's wear it. Repair it. I'm just trying to lighten my load a little bit while keeping myself well, you know what I mean. And then we will also repair these. And I think, did you hear that? Okay. I'm feeling pretty good. And I am carrying less stuff. And let's eat some meat, which will, which will lessen our load a little bit more. And then we'll drink some water, and then we're gonna sort of wander about a little bit and see what we can find. There's a ton of other more traditional jazz musicians whose names are failing me right now, but those are my favorite from Japan. Once I get on my bed, I have other names. It also depends on like what era we're talking about, right? Because I'm kind of looking in like the 20s, 30s. Later, there's a lot of stuff that happens a little bit later, which is kind of exciting. Okay. Now, let's see. We have been... Wait, save. Sorry. Save. Okay. Now, it's so dark that you could hardly see, but the moon refused to shine. All right, so elevator. I don't think our elevator is going to help us right now. We might have to just wait until we get to the Aurora because we need energy, but that's fine. I think what we just do is we give a good look-see around here, because I think we've searched through everything before, but we're going to just sort of see if there's anything we're missing, basically. And then we'll do it. Yeah, so there was like a big, really, really big conservative turn that hit, and that's one of the reasons why, especially early jazz, like 20s jazz, is pretty wild. And the only way to really sort of rehabilitate jazz is by making it less wild, which is sort of what happened in the 30s and 40s. And a lot of 30s and 40s, it's so funny because if you're watching Colas, right, they have got Oscar making a musical, and there were all these really, really very expensive, very happy, upbeat musicals that were in the 30s all over the place. So like if you watched a lot of the media from the 30s, it's everything's like a positive story of somebody, everything is fine and yay and we win and look at all the money that they have, and it's this weird escapist, like it's really, really weirdly escapist in the 1930s in that moment, in that backlash. So it's oh, and of course they banned people too, right? Like I cannot go this way, this makes me sad. Yakano and Nujabes are more 90s. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, there's some really interesting, there's this guy, he's a Japanese-American jazz artist who did an amazing piece about Japanese internment, like Return to Manzanar, I think it was called. Very, very cool stuff. He's really interesting. Also, I'm a little bit concerned about lack of, hello, ladder. You know, lack of, we have been through here. I don't think, I don't think there was anything we missed in this area. Oh. You know what that means, everybody. That means we're going to, what is there? We're going to go and, I'm going to sing. Ooh, maybe I'll sing as like a late crooner since I sang as an early crooner before. So maybe I'll sing as a late crooner this time. But we're going to sing. Oh my gosh. I have not told you, but like I'm very excited about, because you know they basically got rid of a bunch of people who were very exciting because they're like, we cannot handle you. And a lot of styles that were being done, a lot of kind of like what the musicals were like. People like, Mae West, people were doing all sorts of like radical kind of cool stuff. And they're like, no, can't, we got to get rid of you. None of that. And so Gold Diggers in 1933, right? As somebody, which was, yeah, right. So Krellin, this is the thing that's so interesting about Gold Diggers, is that Gold Diggers is a transition film in that Gold Diggers knows that, hold on a second. I have to ponder what I'm going to do about light for a second. So I want to talk about this first. So Gold Diggers is super interesting because Gold Diggers is a transition film, because the song We're in the Money is all this lush, lavish. It is what is going to be basically the rest of the 30s and 40s, except that the film itself is about people who are dirt poor because it's the Depression, right? So the film itself is about people who have no money, who are dirt poor, who are not doing well at all, but they're pretending that things are well in these shows. And that show, which starts the film, we get to see the We're in the Money, which I'm going to sing. After the end of that sequence, the debt collectors come in and start taking all the props and the costume pieces away from people. And they're like, but we have to put on this show so we can make money. They're like, yeah, but you haven't paid us, so you're not going to put on the show. So then, of course, Ginger Rogers, who was in this show, she loses her job because the show's not going to go up because nobody has any money, right? So the Gold Diggers of 33 is interesting because of the ways in which it's still kind of part of that kind of critical moment of before 1933, but it points the way towards a kind of escapist fantasy of post-1933, right? So that film is just right there in that transition moment between those two spaces, which I feel like is super cool. But now I'm going to sing Gold Diggers We're in the Money, which is from Gold Diggers 1933, and I'm going to sing it in Pig Latin as Ginger Rogers sang it, but I'm going to sing it as a late crooner, I think. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm not going to do it with the megaphone because that's not a late crooner sort of thing. So I'm going to go, Airway and hey, the anime. Airway and hey, the anime. Eve way at gay, at way of way at way at way, executed gay way on leo. Airway and hey, the anime. Either I skays or any say. Old man, the 80ish and pray, ooh, are ooh, they stay on way on rayo. Ewe ever eat red lions lay, of wed brians lay, ooh, tay day. And we see the end, the order will look at the eye gate in the eye. We're in the money. We're in the money. We've got a lot of what it takes to get along. Hey, Crit Witch. Hey, Max Ryder. Right, so that's a bit more late crooner. Interestingly enough about Frank Sinatra, by the way, is that early Frank Sinatra sounded like an early crooner. But early Frank Sinatra does not get respect. That's the Columbia years. He sang super sweet, super high. And that's when like all the girls, the Bobby Soxers, would lose their mind for him because they're like, oh my gosh, he's so dreamy. And then he ditched his female audience for the most part and got a bunch of dudes. And he went to that sort of like deeper, later crooner style where he was like, hey, I won't dance. Don't ask me. I won't dance. Don't ask me. I won't dance. Madam with you, love and marriage, you like all that kind of stuff, right? No respect, I tell ya. I'm working on a scenario set in Alabama in 1920. Ooh, Max Ryder, tell me more, because that sounds exciting. Also, I cannot see, which, awkward. And matches will not help me long term, but hey, let's see what we can see. I wish I could just like set some things on fire. That will not help me. This door will not help me. So I kind of think what we need is the Aurora Borealis. Oops, is what I think. Also, I think because it's so dark out, I think what I'm going to do is go outside. I'm pretty sure it's nighttime, it's sleepy time, and take a nap, and maybe the Aurora Borealis will show up while I'm trying to sleep, and then I can run back inside. Is what I'm thinking. Is my hope. And I'm gonna leave this stuff in here because I don't actually need fire making materials because there's a fire out there. And we're gonna just we're gonna. Yeah. And maybe, the thing is, we made a fire. Oh, people. I'm hoping to have it out on Mystotonic Repository just for first. Ooh, that sounds awesome. Rissa says, so I bought Cult of Cthulhu the other day for no reason. Not worried. Nope, not worried at all. Maybe I am worried. Don't you always need fire making materials? Yes, but I don't need them outside right now because dude's there, and he's gonna be my fire helper. He'll just. I'm gonna just abuse his fire. Is what I'm gonna do. Also, I'm gonna take these cans and I'm gonna put them somewhere else as a bit of an experiment, just to see if we need cans. Here we go. Let's just drop that one and drop that one. Sweet. Let's see. Players take part of 15-year-old kids in town who figure out something is going wrong. Ooh, nice. Atomic says, my dad loved Sinatra, wanted to be him when he was a teen. He always tried to have that Rat Pack. See, this is what I'm saying, right? That Sinatra went from a romantic figure for women to a macho dude for men to aspire to, right? Like there was just a huge, and when he dumped his female audience and picked up a dude audience, then people thought he got more respect from dude critics, right? It's what happens all the time, right? When your audience base is perceived to be women, people don't respect you. When your audience base is perceived to be dudes, then people do respect you. And by people, I mean men, who are most of the music critics, right? Same thing with the Beatles. Early Beatles were perceived to have a female audience, and then people thought they weren't good. And then they ditched their female audience, perceived female audience, and then people thought they were genius. It happens all the time. That if you are a person that women like you, or people think that your main audience is women, then people think that you have no quality because people hate women. And if you get rid of that female audience, then people might think you're okay. And you can just see with all these artists, it's pretty disturbing, actually. Yeah. Yeah. So do they make more money with the female audience versus the male audience? I prefer a female audience, to be honest. Well, I would say, one of the problems is that artists don't make money, generally speaking, because record companies just rob them. Do you know what I mean? Record companies misuse them and take advantage of them, and they don't get paid very well one way or the other. I think the deal is this. People with a perceived female fan base have a harder time having career longevity, or also being a woman. You have a harder time having career longevity because you are seen as disposable. It is very hard for you to maintain a career because the record industry, which is mostly done by men and who do not respect women or people that are marketed to women, don't really feel like investing in those artists long term. So you might make a lot of money in the short term, but then you're going to find yourself gone. You know what I mean? Your career is going to be over sooner. And the only way to sort of maintain is to try to ditch your female audience and get a male audience. Sort of try to get male cred is what tends to happen. Yeah, someone is making money. It just tends to be the record company. Baxter's honestly, I'll take any fan base. Yeah, I'd like a good, wide, diverse fan base. That'd be interesting. So and you can think about this. You can watch it. If you realize the pattern. Lindy! Hey, Lindy. I love you. It's just sexism. You know what I mean? It's just misogyny and sexism. That's just what it is. So I feel like we're going to have to sleep, right? We're going to just have to sleep. Because I think we're going to have to wait for the Aurora Borealis to... Yeah, I was right, by the way, about the... Let's cook some tea, drink the tea, and then go to sleep. And then everything will be fine. Boom. You should sleep. Oh, you're here. Nice. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. Misogyny, racism. Yeah, it's yeah. So, but like, look, you just watch. You watch and you can see it. You can see it happens with Frank Sinatra when he goes from young Frank with the Bobby Soxers with the like the screaming girls to like chairman of the board Frank who's like, hey, yeah. And then it was like, oh, he's the voice. He's the chairman. He's so great. People don't say that about early Sinatra, even though like Nancy with the laughing face, like his early songs are so romantic and sweet. But right, you can see it with the Beatles. Early Beatles, people, no one calls them geniuses. And people say, oh, like, I want to hold your hand, whatever. Oh, but then the minute they basically sort of start appealing to a male college audience, then they're genius, right? Rubber Soul onwards, right? The minute that shift happens, and then they look a little bit less cute, right? At that moment as well. Go with somebody like Elvis does it in reverse, actually, in that when he was like the dangerous Elvis that dudes liked, which was the beginning part, people like he got a lot more cred. Later Elvis, wherein his audience was primarily women, does not get really any cred or respect at all. So like he's reverse order, but you know, happens with him. K-pop. K-pop is not a respected genre in the United States in the same way that most pop is not respected in the United States, right? If you look at people who are like raucous, they're like, oh, K-pop, what is that? Look at those guys. They look like girls. All that kind of stuff, right? But like K-pop makes a lot of money. They're a huge demographic. Crit says, oh God, male college audience. Now that's a terrifying and quite telling phrase. Yes. So where's my Aurora Borealis going to happen? Also, what time is it? Hey, why did I wake up early? Oh, let's sleep for a couple more hours till it's like actual daytime, and see if we can, you know, just get like a couple more hours in, and 4 maybe. Oh yeah, and I will say another thing you can think about is, so like I find it really interesting to look at somebody like and like once you're paying attention, you're like, oh, I don't know how I feel about that. Well, I know how I feel about it. I feel it's kind of sketch. But you look at somebody like Justin Timberlake, right? So Justin Timberlake's in NSYNC. NSYNC's a boy band. Nobody gives him any respect because, right? Sexism, misogyny. That's how that works. And Justin Timberlake wants to continue his career, and to do that he has to ditch women to some extent. He's got to pick up men. He's got to basically make himself seem more masculine in some kind of a way. And the way that people traditionally have done that is by sort of blackness, because blackness is masculine, blah, 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 right? So if you look at what Justin Timberlake started doing was, there are a couple other things that you can do also to sort of seem more authentic and manly. And one of those things, of course, is like dancing less if you're a man, and playing an instrument more. So you got like that one Grammy performance of Justin Timberlake where it's from the album. There's an album, his big album that like helps him gets him cred, which in many ways is kind of sketch, because if you look at it, I should eat some food. He is crushing a disco ball under his foot, which is quite symbolic of like him embracing kind of machismo rather than the kind of like dance thing that he had before. Sings a little bit less in his falsetto, his head voice. Starts doing duets with rappers, right? Doing sort of collaborations with rappers, because that's going to get him cred, sort of manly cred. So he sort of moves away. He uses hip hop basically, right, to get his credibility, his sort of manliness, and to sort of move from a heavy female fan base perception to a sort of a more male fan base perception. That's what he did. And that's what a lot of people do. And it's super messed up. It's like super messed up. But Justin Timberlake is bringing sexy back. Yep. Yep. Oh God, I've been a part of that. I never respected boy bands from the era as a kid. Yep. Right. That's the thing. And I remember this was really interesting to me. So this is something it's same pattern, but it broke the pattern a little bit. And I was really fascinated by this. And it was, wasn't that Mark brings it back? Is this primarily, Max, is it primarily in the US? US primarily, the UK is not immune from it, even though the UK, it is not so much Europe. Europe did not have the same kind of panic that the US and the UK had. Just because masculinity works differently in continental Europe than it does in the UK. It just worked. Like Europe never had the anti-disco backlash, for example, that the UK and the US had. Now the UK, they do appreciate their boy bands more. However, the UK still has a lot of it has similarities in that way. They're and like you look at like the Brit pop, Brit rock, right? There are these certain kind of hyper macho moments that happened, and if you want to look at a UK version of this, you would look at Robbie Williams, because Robbie Williams was in Take That, which was particularly female fan base and also sort of queer fan base, and when he went solo, he kind of machoed up himself quite a bit. He didn't like move to, I mean, he did like Kids with Kylie Minogue. He has a rap break, so there's that. But he kind of moves up the sort of like the womanizing, a bit more sort of like, he kind of goes a little Sinatra in certain moments. I mean, actually in Kids, right? There's like a whole reference to like Chairman of the Board, which is a Sinatra reference. So he does it some, actually. I mean, it's not as extreme in the US, but it's certainly there. Like, and there's also a reason why when Jive Records wanted to break the Backstreet Boys, which was the first new boy band for the US in the 90s, they went to Germany first, because Germany was not like super anti-boy band in the way that the US was. And the UK is like not as bad as the US, but they still have I don't even know who Lordi. Oh, Lordi, they went to Eurovision, sort of a big band. They actually do, right? They do appreciate dancers. I would say that one of the things I would note about what's happening right now, by the way, in the game, is that I just do not see how, I do not think I can get through the dam without the Aurora Borealis going. So, but Lordi was like a death metal band that competed at Eurovision, which is really a pop competition. And so having a metal band was pretty unprecedented. But I feel like there is this strain in the UK, and I think there was a really interesting example, or like what would you call it? A sort of way of talking about it would be yes, they won Eurovision, as a matter of fact, which was very, very, the politics of Eurovision are very interesting, is all I'm going to say. There are a lot of interesting politics there, like national politics, language politics. There's a lot. Cold War politics back when, like really interesting. Anyway, so there's this whole thing about, hey, elevator, how you doing? I'm worried about what my life is going to mean. I have been through this place, and that was the control room. I got in there. I just don't think we can get through this without the Aurora Borealis. This is my thought process. I don't know if that's true, though. They do. Right. Okay, so in the UK, there's a whole thing about the Christmas #1. What is the #1 Christmas hit? Like, what's going to be #1 on the Christmas charts? And for a really long time, what was #1 on the UK Christmas charts was probably a band out of like Pop Idol or X Factor. So basically a pop band, which means a perceived female fan base, and perceived female fan base, pop rather than rock. And there's like a whole sort of like UK kind of macho rock thing. If you go a little bit earlier in time, you're going to think about like Oasis, right? Wonderwall. There's like a whole like Brit rock thing going on. And a bunch of these dudes were so angry at the fact that like pop music was always hitting #1, and they were so mad and they hated it so much that, it looks like I may not have been through everything, but I don't think we're going to get, like, I don't feel like we're going to find special keys or something. Although, I mean, you never know. So what they did was, yeah, it makes the electronics works as long as it lasts. I'm sorry, Volpus, I made you think about Oasis. I'm so sorry. So there was this big, kind of like, how do I put this? I like it and don't like it at the same time, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, so this thing I'm going to describe, I like it and I don't like it. So a bunch of these like rock dudes were like, man, we hate like X Factor and all this basically like stuff that's aimed at women. We don't think it's like, oh, they were all mad about it, right? And so they decided to go and do a campaign to try to mess that whole thing up. So what they did was, here's the thing, y'all. I think what I should maybe do is wait, right? I could wait. If I waited a little bit, I might be able to wait until the Aurora Borealis happens, because they do tend to wake you up if that happens. Let's pass time. I'm going to put in like 10 hours and then just see if we are woken up with an Aurora Borealis before those 10 hours happen. This is what I'm going to do. So what they decided to do was get like a bunch of rock people, like rock stars, UK rock people, and record the song 433 by John Cage. Oh, I'm out of water. Okay, I'm gonna have to drink water real soon. Let's drink some water. And if you don't know the song, it's not a song, it's a piece of music, 433 by John Cage, it is 4 minutes and 33 seconds. When did I save last? We're going to save right now, in case that was a bad idea. We're just going to save right now. So it's 4 minutes and 33 seconds of silence is what that piece is. It's an avant-garde piece from like the 1960s. Like avant-garde. So like, hello, Aurora Borealis. Hey, how are you? Look, do you hear that? Hey, I think we're in. Y'all, I think we're in. Wait, doesn't it sound like we're in? People. I'm hearing it, but I don't know if we're actually in it. I'm going to pause. No, I'm hearing a little crackling, like a little crackling. Oh, maybe the game volume is pretty low. Hold on. I can take care of that. But to do that, I have to come over here. And then I can do this. And then I can do this. Let's do that. And then we'll see how we feel about it. Max, don't let me forget to tell you about 433 and like this 4 minutes and 33 seconds of silence. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I got it, because the other side of that blanket is like my banjo and a lamp. So check it out. Do you hear it? Do you hear that crackling sound? The thing is, if we really were in the Aurora Borealis, I think that my battery would not be dead. So it's a little mysterious to me. Yeah. Oh, thanks. He's a very good photographer. Okay, so this is, here? I don't know if the Aurora Borealis is fully on, because... But look at that. Okay, look. Something is on. All right. So the question is... Oh. I really would like my flashlight to be working right now. Which makes me think that we're not really, like, fully Aurora Borealis. Ooh, did you see that? What was that? Okay, something is happening here, folks. Hey, my battery's up. Okay, Aurora Borealis activated. We are in. Wait, save, 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 save. And pause. Okay, okay. So that crackling is the Aurora Borealis. There's some kind of electricity in the air that's like giving us electricity. And if we have to wait, we're in the moment. If we can sort of, I think the only way to get through this is to get the elevator to work. We've turned on the thing. So if we can get the elevator to work, I think we can get out of here. I think it does not last very long, right? It doesn't last very long. So it's very mysterious. It's very mysterious. But I got to finish this thought, and I'm going to pause it so that I don't lose my Aurora Borealis. So John Cage's avant-garde composer wrote this piece called 433, which is 4 minutes of 33 seconds of silence, which I'll talk about afterwards. And these rock musicians who hated pop music and all that, it's kind of sexist, right? They're like, we're going to go and record that song, 433, which is going to be just silence. And then we're going to release it on Christmas, like right before Christmas. And we're going to basically do kind of a chart manipulation, like get all of those people who like hate pop music to request it for the radio and buy it and download it so that we can become the #1 pop song for Christmas. They wanted 4 minutes and 33 seconds of silence to beat the pop acts. And so they try to mobilize all their like really angry, disaffected people who hate the pop music, who like rock instead, to like show how absurd it is to like have this thing. And the band, they called themselves Cage Against the Machine, which is brilliant because John Cage is the composer. And here's the thing. The part of me that understands that they were doing this out of a sense of grossness, like rockism and like kind of grossness, I don't like that. The part of me that loves John Cage and loves avant-garde experimental music thought that was hilarious and awesome. And I remember watching the recording session. So they got all the musicians there in the recording studio. They all turned on their amps, right? And they had all their guitars with them. They did the whole thing. And then they didn't do anything for like 4 minutes and 33 seconds. I think they're also remixes of it, right? So like part of me just like as an avant-garde person thinks that is brilliant and I love it. But they're like anti-popness, which has a weird, and the people who were like on board were also pretty weird about their gender stuff. And so I didn't like any of that though, right? So I didn't like that part, but I did think it was kind of cool that they were trying to get John Cage on the radio. And they didn't hit #1, but I think they were top 20. And so the question is, please, somebody let that go through. Somebody undo that automod. Who would play that on the radio station, right? Yes. So I do not have access. Yes. Thank you. So like it was, and I don't like what they did with the John Cage because they kind of missed the point of the John Cage. Right? Like, you know what I mean? Like they missed the point of it. Like it actually has a point. There is a point to that piece, which is really, really interesting. I actually kind of love that piece, 433, but it doesn't really work on the radio. It's not a radio piece. It's a live piece. You have to be live for it, actually, I think. Yeah, I mean, like, technically you could do it on the radio, but it kind of loses its impact if you do it on the radio. It's something that you should be doing live, and I don't like why they were doing it, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? But so it does happen in the UK. There was a whole thing there, too. It does happen. Yeah, it happens. It's like putting a blanket. But see, here's the thing, right? Okay, I'm going to talk about 433 and why 433 is like super interesting. But I'm not going to unpause the game because I don't want to lose my Aurora Borealis. So John Cage is one of these avant-garde composers from like the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, right? Really wanting to challenge elitism and really make us think and sort of think about things in different ways. Or Banksy. Oh yeah, Banksy with his self-destructing painting. Absolutely. Have us think about art differently. Have us think about music differently. Have us think about sound and the world we live in differently. Engage differently. And 433 started when John Cage went to a sensory deprivation tank. You know, there's like it's like a room. There are not that many of them. There are only a few of them. And there are these rooms where you go in and it's treated so there is no sound at all, right? It's completely dark. So there's no light and there's no sound and zero sound at all. And most people cannot stay in that room longer than about a minute or so. It gets too disturbing and upsetting. People have to leave. So people don't stay in that room particularly very long. And he went into that room, the place with no sound, and he went in there And he was there for like, I don't think he stayed super. Yeah, it's too unnatural, right? Because there's always sound. Yeah. Um, and so he went in there, he was in there. I don't know how long he stayed, but when he came out, he asked the technician, you said that was a completely silent space, right? That there was no sound in there. And the guy's like, yeah. And he's like, but I heard sounds. I heard like this like high pitched tone. I heard some other space like, oh yeah, no, that was your nervous system, right? That when you're in a place with no sounds at all, you can actually start hearing your body. And so that for him was this revelation that there is no silence, right? There is no such thing as silence. There's always sound, even if it's like the sound of your own body. And so 433, the piece, it actually is in like 4 movements. So you go into this, the way it was originally done, you went to this concert hall. So all these people go to this concert hall, and many of them might be stuffy people who only think Beethoven counts or whatever, right? You walk in, and I can't remember who the pianist is. There's this guy that is a piano player for like all these sort of avant-garde pieces. He comes out to the piano. He puts out the timer. He lifts up the lid of the piano. He's got the sheet music, and he sits there. And he sits there. And he sits there. And after like, I can't remember when the first act ends, the first movement ends. It ends probably after like a minute and something. Then after the minute and something, he closes the lid, pauses, and then he starts the second movement, opens the lid again, and he waits like 45 seconds, whatever. And everybody in the audience is losing their mind. They're like, what is happening? What is going on? What is this? And the point is, tinnitus, yeah. But the point is that we don't listen to the world around us. That what we do is we tune out sounds. Like we don't listen to the sounds of our nervous system or the sounds of our heart beating, or we don't actually listen. That like we move through the world not listening to the things around us. And so for these 4 minutes and 33 seconds, you actually have to listen. Like when you go to a concert and there's like a string quartet there, everybody listens so intently to that string quartet, but you don't listen to everything else. You don't listen to anything else. And so part of 433 is to actually have you listen to the world around you. And I actually have my students, when I teach music, I have my students go through this process. Now, I don't do full 4 minutes and 33 seconds because actually nobody can stand that, because people's attention spans are very, very short nowadays. And 4 minutes and 33 seconds is a bit too much for most people, which is part of the challenge of the original piece, that actually 4 minutes and 33 seconds is a really long time. And so it's quite challenging in interesting ways. We'll usually like 2 minutes. We'll do about 2 minutes. And I'll have my students, I'm like, okay, no, I want you to listen. For real, really listen for 2 minutes to everything. And we sit for 2 minutes together and we listen with as much concentration as we can for 2 minutes of silence. And I'm going to give you like 30, right here, experiment, y'all. 30 seconds only. That's all we got. I've got my timer up. I want you to listen for 30 seconds and try really hard to hear everything that you can around you. Everything for the next 30 seconds, starting now. Okay, 30 seconds done. So then what do you hear, right? Skexy says, this is usually where I have to cough. That's actually part of it, right? If you coughed in that big symphony hall, you would become part of the piece, right? So the piece is all of the sounds in that space. So if you cough, you're part of the piece. The rustling of paper of like the program, that's part of the piece too. It's right. So Crit says, ooh, see, that is cool. I can see what you were saying about it experiencing it live now. I know you mentioned the Pope, but I forgot. Yeah, it's like meditation and mindfulness. Yeah. Sketch is also 4:33 on Zoom and everybody's checking their settings and calling IT because sound's not working. Yeah. Yes, right. Cron says, I mostly heard the fan. I keep on the background as white noise. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Max says, tick of the clock, tinnitus, mom's TV, some movement from you. That's what her, absolutely, right? Absolutely. And normally you would never hear that because you just tune it out. Rissa says, for me, it was mostly distant machines, airplanes and cars, the sound of my router. I could hear the fan of my computer. I could hear Dot somewhere distant in the other room, very, very lightly, just like the sound. I couldn't make out any sounds. I couldn't make out what she was saying, but just like a quiet hum. I could hear a little bit of, I'm not quite certain what it is. I think it might be air through like the heating and air conditioning system, because we have an apartment upstairs because we're in the basement, and I could hear like kind of like a hollow sound because like there's a vent right up there, so I could hear that, right? And so all of a sudden, and I could hear a little bit of I could hear the wire connected to my headphones as it moved against my shirt. I could hear that little scrape, just a very light sound, right? So like all of a sudden I was hearing things that I don't normally listen to, right? And so it becomes about listening, right? Krellin, oh yeah, tonight I didn't mention that because I always hear it. Yeah. And then what do we get here? Toy Boat Sitter says, this is very interesting. My favorite part about wilderness backpacking is the sound, or rather the lack of machine noise. And now, not absolutely. And you stop noticing machine noise, right? I mean, so often we almost always have the hum of some kind of light somewhere, right? And then, but we don't listen to it. But then what happens if you do listen to it? Max says, I hear that stuff all the time. I tune out very little. Laying in bed at night, I hear the clock, the fridge, and the high-pitched whine in my old ears, right? And that's really interesting. Also, Maggie's snoring because she still has a cold. Gondlar says, me, PC fans, my breath, tripper moving, my hard drive. Oh, yeah. Hawkeye says, only hear the tinnitus in my ears from all the wax compaction since I have my Bose headphones on. Crit says, I heard the fan, a moving vehicle outside, tripper rustling something, and my heartbeat, headphones, and the squeak of my headphones on my glasses because I had one cuff off to listen. Right. And what becomes interesting about, and what's really interesting about doing it in the concert hall setting is that there's an entire audience, and all of that audience is also going to make noise. And so they all become part of the piece. And I saw a really interesting thing where John Cage decided, he did the first one in a concert hall, like a symphony hall. And then he actually started doing it in different places. Like he took a piano to like the streets, like Times Square in the 70s. He would go to different places, like he would go and do 433 in the forest. There would be a piano, he'd bring out a piano, right? But then of course he wouldn't play it, but he'd open it, close it. He'd bring it to, and he'd bring people to different places, and they'd have these sort of moments, right? To sort of notice the sound of music, or the sounds in different contexts. And so, I don't think it works as well as a single on the radio. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that it's one of those things you kind of actually, I think it works way better if you're live in an acoustic space, because wherever space you are, the acoustics will be different. And that's also part of it. Are you in a really big hall? Are you in a small room? Are you outside on the street? Are you in, like, are you in a forest? Are you by a lake? Are you by the ocean? Are you doing this there? Like, where are you doing it? And I think, I just don't think it works as well as a recording. That's all. Yeah. It is 8:45. How late do you plan to get tonight since you're not hosting? I'm not going to go too late because I've got to do writing. We'll say like 15 maybe. Yeah, I'm just a Philistine. This doesn't strike me as art, more of experimentation. Yeah, I think the thing is it's experimental art, right? That's the thing. It's experimental art. And part of it had to do with this question of what is music? What is music? What is noise? And one of the things that's sort of interesting about the history of music is that it is how do I put this? In many ways, the history of music is the shifting of things that were considered noise and not music into being considered music. Most of what we consider music today, within the context of people who listen to popular music, would not have been considered music 200 years ago. It would have been considered noise. Harsh, ugly, not music, just noise. Things that wouldn't even make any sense. So, I mean, like in the medieval era, like when it comes to medieval chant, you would do fifths and fourths, thirds and sixths would be considered ugly, harsh, and noisy, and not anything that you would actually ever use. And then thirds and sixths became normal, but sevenths and seconds would be bad. And now those things are normal. Now we have distorted guitars, which at one point would only be considered noise and not at all music. And now we think of that as like, you can have distorted guitars like on a corporate retreat song. You know what I mean? Like it's not even a big deal. So in many ways, we've like a lot of the history of music is trying to figure out like where the line is between sound, noise, music, and that line changes. It changes all the time. And we don't hear the same way anymore. So a lot of this is about like trying to figure out like, what do we mean by music? What do we mean by sound, noise? Because these lines are very fluid. Chris says, yay, writing, get it done. No, hey, I bring your South in, but it's because I'm giving a presentation tomorrow. Like I gave a presentation yesterday and I'm giving one tomorrow. And so I need to, my PowerPoint is done, but I need to polish the writing for tomorrow. So doing this, then I'm going to be writing, get up in the morning, writing. And then hopefully when my presentation happens at 4 p.m. tomorrow, it will be perfect and beautiful and lovely. And then after the presentation, then we have Kolos. Well, see, Rissa, the presentation is one of the chapters of the book. That's why I'm doing these presentations. I said yes to these presentations because it's a chapter in the book. So like, it's a way to make me get worked in my book. How long before someone swinging around a chainsaw is considered music? Max, already happening. If you think about it, like industrial music, right? From like 80s industrial, chainsaws, certainly in there. There's a lot of like, yeah, actually, right? So like, I'm thinking like, what song? Is there's a Depeche Mode song that has like some industrial machines in there. So already happening. And if you think about it, there's a piece, there's a German new wave piece. I think it's Ice Bear that has kind of like a chainsaw sound in there. Vulpes, God, please don't talk about what's now corporate meeting music these days. If I never get to hear the party started again, it'll be too soon. Cthulhu Mythos music, that's tempo of torch. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that actually sort of works, especially now. And here's another thing. Even now, so that we are in a space of people, like a lot of people who are like young, cool people, like listen to video game and film soundtracks, especially for like horror games, etc. And a lot of that stuff is very ambient and industrial and would not be considered music like 200 years ago, but people are like grooving on it. Yeah, you know? And so, yeah, and I think about something like...
Name game.
The name game. Come on, everybody. Also, people didn't think jazz was music. People didn't think jazz was music. They didn't think rap was music. They didn't think metal was music. They thought it was just noise. Like, hardcore. I don't know if you've ever listened. Sorry, I don't know if you've ever listened to hardcore. My sister's a big hardcore fan. That's like, forgive me. People are like, that's not music. But like, it is music to a whole bunch of people. Like somebody being like, right? Like, you know, like for people like, that's my music, right? And some people like, they love that. So like what is and what isn't music is a line that is blurry and fuzzy and that just changes over time. And these like experimental artists from like the 50s and 60s were just really interested in like pushing boundaries and pushing people to see things in different ways. And they're experiments. It's experimental art to see what you think about it. And I think that's interesting, you know? But as I was saying, the name game. Come on, everybody. I say, now let's play a game. I bet you I could make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F. More an M will appear. And then I say bow at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fanner, and foe. Then I say the name again with an F, very plain. Then a fee, fi, and a mo. Then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Voltiel, 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 but Voltiel, banana, fanner, for Voltiel, fee, fi, mo, Maltiel. Voltiel, the name game. Woo! Thank you, Voltiel. Oh, you like the Wrath of Kron soundtrack? Yeah, there's like a lot of really interesting things, right? Like jazz isn't music, jazz, right? So I just think it's one of those things where you have to really like ponder. And oh, wait, I gotta tell you, this is so interesting. So you know tones, right? Like musical tones, boo, like there's a tone, right? Boo. So here's the thing about this: any kind of musical note has a frequency, right? Like we tune C to 440, for example, and that's how many like pulses, right, per minute you have. That's your frequency. But there's a moment as you go, and like the lower the frequency, the fewer pulses there are, like per minute. The higher the frequency, the more pulses there are. There is a moment when something goes from being what we hear as a tone, like a note, to what we hear as percussion. There's a moment, right, where if it gets fast enough, if you go dum, 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 and you go fast enough, it stops being beats and starts becoming a note, right? So what is the line between a note and a beat? Well, actually, right, they're the same thing. It's just that one is slower than the other, right? So like, there's this continuum, right, of sound. And where we decide to draw lines becomes really interesting. And so there's like a lot of like experimentation about and like thinking about that. And also thinking about like industrial instruments. The piano is an industrial instrument. It is a constructed instrument that is made through huge amounts of technology. Like the pianos we have now, we just didn't have a couple hundred years ago. We just couldn't even build them. So many of our instruments are the product of like the Industrial Revolution and experimentation and like, computer and modeling and whatnot, synthesizers, all sorts of stuff. So like, it's like it's real interesting. I think it is. Yeah, we're hitting physics, right? Yeah. Almost sorry. This is Kenneth. What's the frequency, Kenneth? Yeah. And there's a, Cage wasn't himself personally, but, oh gosh, can I tell you about a piece? I don't think this is Cage. I think this is like Morton, one of these other sort of experimental, composers from the time period. And I have not, oh, I know Homestar Runner. I know Homestar. I'm also burninating the neighborhood. Just gonna burninating the countryside. So this is a piece that I have not done personally, but I really, really want to. I just actually have to find the actual instructions for it. And then I'd like to do it. And you know what? Here's the thing. I don't think of a tape recorder. Oh, I could do it with my phone, right? I could record it with my phone. Oh, you know what? I'm going to find it. Because I'm currently in Atlanta and I'm not going to be here much longer, which means I can do it here and I can do it when I go back to Massachusetts. Yes, oh gosh. Trogdor! I'm going to do this piece. I've got to find it. I've got to see where I can find it. I hope I can find it because I don't want to fake it. I want to do the actual piece. So, the piece is a set of instructions is the piece. And you're supposed to be on a bicycle and you're supposed to take a tape recorder with a blank tape, wear it around your neck, hit record, and then follow the instructions on the score. So this instruction will say like, go forward, for 10 blocks or for 5 minutes, or it's this sort of time period, turn left, then go for this amount of time, turn left again, then turn right. Like it gives you an instructions of a route to take. And your job for this piece is to follow the route in the instructions as best as you can. And then when the instructions are over, when you finish the route, you stop the tape. And then the piece is you playing back the tape. So you rewind the tape and you play it back and you listen to the sounds that you had as you followed these instructions, right? So what the sounds are that happened when you followed that sort of route. And the idea being that you would follow the same set of instructions in different places, right? You would have different starting points. Like you would go to a different starting point. You're like, what happens if I start this piece here? What does it sound like? What if I start this piece in Montreal, in the middle of downtown Montreal? What is the piece like then? And then what is the piece like if I start the piece like in the middle of a small town in the Swiss Alps? What is that piece like there, right? So the idea is that you have this one set of instructions and then people from wherever in the world would all do the instructions from their starting point And then when it's over, because oftentimes when we're traveling, we don't listen as well. You roll it back and then you listen, and then you discover this sort of soundscape that is sort of created. And then like ideally you would share it with people, right? Like you maybe share your soundscape with somebody else. Oh man, I want to do that now. I wonder if I can find it, because people have phones now, right? You can record sound with your phone, right? Which means it'd probably be easier to do nowadays. And then you have an MP3 of it. I think I want to do that because I would love to hear other people's soundscapes. That would be so cool. Ooh, yeah. If you can overlay it with a map and a route for it, absolutely, yeah. We all have phones and we live in different cities. And we can all, yeah, right. That would be so cool, because wouldn't it be really neat to like we all do this thing? We all like just sort of take a trip, right? We take a trip, we record it, and then we upload. Like I can make a web page, and we could put all of our soundscapes on there together, and then we could like listen to each other's sounds, and it would be so cool. And like what time of day you start your trip, where you start your trip, where you're at, like all of those things would be really different. And like somebody says like, this is dusk in Barcelona. How cool is that? Okay, well, this is the same piece, but now we're going to be over here. And yeah, now I want that. You can send out your whole class to do it. Ooh. That's true, Skexy, especially if we're still remote. Yeah. Ireland. Yeah, right? Owen, because like if you're in Ireland, like what does it sound like where you're at? And like, oh gosh. That would be kind of beautiful. Like, and this is, I think, one of the things that's actually kind of cool about some of this experimental stuff is that one of the things that was kind of important about it, or important to the people who are making it, is that they wanted to break down some of the hierarchies of like who's important and who's not important. They kind of wanted the audience to be important in their own ways. Even though this is not the same thing, I feel like things like Stomp, Blue Man Group, those kind of things I feel like are related. Like they are kind of like the children of some of these things. Something like psychedelic music. Actually, a lot of the psychedelic musicians actually hung out with these experimental folks as well. There are some experimental dance musicians who like, I mean, I went to the school that I went to as an undergraduate, Mills College, is the place where John Cage was for a while, and a bunch of really experimental electronic music composers were all there. So it's a super like experimental place. And a number of the people who go there to learn composition in this super experimental way then became electronic dance music composers, right? Like they would go and like create like experimental dance music. Yes. Oh, a medieval city in Ireland. Oh, okay. That is so cool. Owen. A medieval city in Ireland, I want to hear that soundscape. That would be so cool. How do you feel about 10 minutes of rain and taxi splashes? Yes, that would be super interesting, right? Because could you imagine it? Like you get like 10 minutes of like, yeah, here's what, I'm going to go and look. I wonder if I have it in my Fluxus book. I have a book of some Fluxus scores. I wonder if it's in there, because if it is, then I will share the score and we'll all do this piece, because that would be so cool. Max says, sweet, I just got a nice review for one of my Miskatonic Repository centers. Ooh, oh, that's cool. That is awesome. Yeah, so that's like a really cool piece. Okay, look. We're going to see right now. We saved, right? We're going to see if we can... all right, so look, we're here. I think everything's going. I think what we need to do is get to the elevator. But I tried the elevator before and it wasn't super helpful, but let's see what we can do. I'm gonna just well, yeah, let's try real quick. Elevator, buttons, go, buttons, call elevator.
Oh, I guess there's only one way to go from here.
Yes. And oh, hey, we're in. Wait, no, I can't. Wait. Oh my gosh, people. We're gonna go, but we're not gonna go without our stuff. Hold on. We're gonna just grab our stuff. Here, go. Yeah, go. We're taking all our stuff. Because I bet, here's the thing, most of this is crafting stuff.
I'm not gonna be able to carry this load for much longer.
Yes, you are. Just relax. It'll be fine. Oh my gosh. I think, yeah, that's why I wanted to get the stuff. Okay, we're going. Whew. I feel so proud of myself. Oh, not the elevator. Okay, this way. This is where Troy gets all the stuff and then can't walk fast enough to get to the elevator in time. No! That'd be terrible. Max, I think this is leading to the next level. I'm really excited. I think we're gonna get to the next level. We just had to wait for the Aurora Borealis. Elevator. I think we're gonna go to the bottom because we're going down, right? It was really fun, that brief moment of when you were unencumbered, just briefly. Like I didn't want to, go.
Holy shit! What was that?
What was what? Okay. Let's. Okay. So I am a little, y'all. Let's save. We're gonna just save. Do you know what I mean? We're gonna, for no reason, we're gonna just save. I know, I just feel like Azathoth is here and like none of it is good. None of it is good. Oh, Max Ryder, just feeling all sorts of Cthulhuid today. And a hand cart. Well, that seems nice. Do you feel like this place is safe? Because I feel like maybe it is not safe. Those are just my feelings. Also. Oh yes, you should tell us the name of your supplement so that we can maybe check it out, because that would be super awesome. Yes. Oh, hey, you know what? Max, maybe you could put a link to it in our Discord, and then we could check it out, and that would be awesome. Also, my poor little flashlight's dying. Okay, but all right, good. Yeah, okay, great. Nice. Oh, Pookie reviewed it. Nice. Ooh, Lost Port Royal, Jamaica, 1892. Nice. I approve. I approve of that. What were other pieces, sort of really interesting experimental pieces that I thought were like, that maybe think about things in new ways? I thought that was kind of fun. Let me think. Jamaica. It's fine. I mean, it's not like we will have to walk over a rickety bridge or something. They'll take all extra weight into account. No, that would be, that would be bad, right? That would be terrible. Okay. Okay, so there's a thing up there we could go. Let's not do that yet. Let's just,
Shit, that burns.
Ouch! Wait, what happened?
It hurts so much.
Okay. Well, great. I hurt myself. Just gonna note it. Let's just check ourselves out. We have some burns.
Feels like it's still burning.
Okay, we're gonna work on it. So we need bandages and medication. Okay, so let's do that. Let's get some bandages. Sure.
The pain.
Okay, and then we're gonna, do that. Okay. Look, we're fine now. It's great. Nothing is wrong. But apparently, we can't go that way. I would like to, though. Let's not. Let's not do that again. But I feel like we could maybe, sneak around? Maybe? I feel like that was kind of unfair. I didn't even, step on anything. That's all. Burned your hand, need a cure. How about a hot cup of rose hip tea? Yeah, apparently rose hip tea cures burns. How does that happen? Nobody knows. Also, I have more than one flashlight. I have two of them. Yeah. We're gonna try these stairs instead. Because I feel like there are, interesting things. Well, maybe there's not interesting things, but you know what? It's fine. It's fine. I'm not gonna worry about it. What do we have here? And can I escape? Well, interesting. This place seems like an OSHA violation waiting to happen, is all I'm saying. And the question becomes, how do I get down? Maybe I could, lift something or get murdered around the corner. Hey, Ice Bunny. All right, so I cannot jump over this at all. Doesn't look like it. let's see. Like, there's got to be. I wish you could jump. You know what I mean? So this is not going to give us joy. Probably not. Still feel like I should be able to sneak by here. Just let me sneak. Come on. Can I just, like, sneak by this way if I'm, like, really careful? I could just sneak, like, just a little, like... See? Look at that. I did it. Just a little sneaking. Just, that's all. That's it. If you're not carrying so much, you might be able to get over... if we find a body around here, it wasn't someone that died from the cold, it was the ocean inspector that had a heart attack. That's true. I think that's actually 100% true. Look, maybe we can find food, or a way out, or... I also sort of feel bad about using my flashlight so much, but... because I feel like I probably don't really need it. Well, see... mixed feelings. It's, you know, this is that kind of level of... it's dark, but there's, like, quasi-ambient light, so you never really know if it's, your flashlight is a good idea or not. I feel like it's unfair, the lack of climbing that I have, but it's all right. So we're gonna just let's do this. Tiptoe through the tulips. Where do you want? Put it in. No, put it in tabletop musings, because it's tabletop related. So that's where you should put it, and then I will be happy. Also, here's what I'm thinking. If I break this down, maybe I can get through. Also, maybe not. Really? Oh, dang it. You're not going to be through. Well, that's okay. We'll climb over this way, I suppose. It's going to be... you know, it's just all kind of awkward, generally speaking, and it's fine. It's fine. Oh, there is a creations channel. Yeah, but I was thinking, like, tabletop would be good, because, you know, it's like a tabletop-related thing. And, okay, there's stuff up there, but I bet we get there from this other direction. So, this will take us... where? Where will this take us? Here. Maybe? I don't know if this is a good idea. See, there's got to be a way to get up here, but I think you get up here from over there. So what I need to do is figure out a way to get maybe over there. It looks a bit dangerous and awkward. I am going to try looking at other parts of the building first. Right? Yes. Yes. We're gonna look around the whole place first to see if, you know, we might be missing something important. And then, once we get the lay of the land, we will know if we are going to stop before we leave the level, or if we will leave the level and then stop. Our mission here is to get out. We need to get out of this dam. Because, like, we need to find the way out. If we can find the way out, then I think we actually end the chapter. But, you know... oop. Hold on a second. I think I actually have... I actually think I have another flashlight. And that flashlight would be... that's fire. Is it under tools, maybe? So there's this flashlight. I feel like I wanted to keep both of them, but I don't know if you let me. Like, you might have convinced me not to keep both of them, even though I wanted to. It looks like I don't have both of them. Dang it. Well, wah heck. Actions? I don't want to harvest anything. All right, we will wait for our flashlight to build itself back up again. It'll be fine. Hey, the Wandering Inn. How are you? There hasn't been anything interesting in this place yet. I've not found like food or wandering in. How have you been? I hope you've been well. Well, because then I can hot, what do you call them? Like hot swap them, go from like one to the next, and then I always have light. Then I'm not like wandering around with no light. Wandering in, what are you doing? What have you been streaming? How's everything going? What is happening in your life? These are the things that I want to know. Also, I think we're gonna be okay. We just have to find a way out. Sheepy's fine, wandering in is my father. Fair, fair. Oh, good, thank you for posting. See, look at that, my flashlight. Oh, here we go. Nothing interesting here. But I feel like we'll be able, like there's an exit there. I feel like that exit might take us out and we win. But before we go to the exit, I feel like we should try all of the, we should just, because like what if there's like the best thing ever that we need? Like what if we go up here, we will find food, for example. Not that I need food, which I do. Oh, you posted Poke's Rook. Oh, good, good, good. I feel like Chaosium has been doing some good things in their kind of new iteration, you know? And I'm happy for them. But I have I have a lot of friends who have been Chaosium adjacent, sort of involved in Chaosium in various ways. Also...
Now we're cooking with gas.
Hey! Lamp oil. That's not a bad thing, people. I'm gonna eat... I have almost no food left. You're going to work with... Oh, you're having to work with Bridget. Oh, that is cool. Speaking of, I'm going to have a little bit of coffee. Just a little bit of coffee, because, you know, I'm a little tired. And we're also going to maybe load up our refuel. We're going to refuel our lantern. That's awesome. Done. Do I actually have, well, you know what? I don't know if I do or not. And I can't even say. I'm looking for lantern fuel. I feel like I should probably, is there anything I can drop is the question that I'm asking myself. But I think not. No, it doesn't look like it. Okay. Wandering In says, the things are going well, thanks. Just managed to finish a project that was weighing me down and slowing my roll, aside from just keeping things rolling, spinning plates. Oh, yeah, I do know. Hey, so let's take our newly wonderful lantern, and let's just use that for a moment while I mean, it's not the best thing ever, because it would be better to use that flashlight, but hey, you know what? Life's too short. We will use this while we got it, and... I just want to, like, find cool things and then escape. Like a Canadian flag. We could... The thing is, I want to find... Because I don't know if we need guts in order to make... I don't know if we need guts in order to make the shoes that we clearly need to learn how to make. Because I figure sometime soon we're going to learn how to make shoes. And... they might need guts. Like, once I figure out what we need for the shoes, I can start dropping some excess stuff, but I would really hate to, like, be in a space where I can't get the stuff that I need to make the shoes, and I am not wearing shoes. That's all I'm saying. Is there anything you drop? Yes. Is there anything you will drop? No. Like, I will eventually, just not this second, just soon, just, you know, not this exact moment. Okay, nothing good there. Nothing interesting. Fine, we're moving. We're grooving. And we don't need any of that. We're gonna head across. How's World War II progressing? Good. Oh, thank you, Rissa. Do you have to throw some switches or something? I don't think so. Do you know how hard? No, I still don't have shoes because I don't have a recipe. Do not have a shoe recipe yet. So I'm just hoping that once we get to a place, I learn a shoe recipe. Somebody will teach me how to make shoes, I hope. And then, you know, find out what supplies we need, and then everything is great, and then you see that I dropped some guts, and you're like, wow, you dropped guts, that was amazing, and then you're proud of me, and then it's good. World War II is progressing. I think we might actually be able to get all 16 episodes in. It was unclear if we'd end up having 15 or the full 16 in the end, but I think we'll get...
I could use this.
Hey, sweet. I think we might be able to get the full thing. So that's good. I'm excited about that. There are other things going in my life right now, which is about the fact that I would like to run some other things. Because here's the thing, like usually in between seasons of Kolos, I like run something different. Like usually I'll do like Cthulhu Confidential, like do something in the interim. The only problem I have right now is that I'm moving, and so we're gonna end Kolos probably the first week of December, and then I'm gonna be moving in December. When in December is still unclear because I don't actually know when my apartment will be open. Hey, it's mountaineering rope. Hey, it said I was too encumbered to climb. What do you think they meant by that? Do you think they meant that literally? Do you think they were like, hey, you're too encumbered to climb because you're carrying too much stuff? Do you think that's what they meant? Because that seems unfair. Yeah, I might have to drop some stuff. Yeah, Trooper, I will never be proud of you because you will never drop anything. Insert Distorted Summon Cal. I love that Distorted Summon Cal. It's the best. Apparently they did say that. Apparently they've been trying. Apparently I'm gonna drop some stuff. I wonder how much stuff I have to drop. Like I wonder how much I can get away with not dropping. Is basically the question that I have. So let's go to the top. Not dropping. I'm gonna drop these sticks. I'm gonna drop sticks. I will keep 2 sticks. I'm too weak to climb. It's terrible. Then I'm going to I'm going to drop the prepared reishi mushrooms. I'm going to drop all of them. I'll just drop them all. Just drop them. This is insane. I know, I'd love to drop them off the edge. Okay, we're going to keep the old man's beer dressing. These are cured wolf pelts. We're going to keep those because we might need them for, what's the word? Can be used for crafting, repairing, right? So we're going to keep these in case we need them. Yeah, I regret that. I dropped the bedroll. I regretted it so hard. Okay, we need all of that. This is cloth we need. These are cured deer hides. We're going to keep the cured deer hides. I want to keep all the deer hides because we might need them. I'm going to keep those mushrooms because they're not that heavy. I will drop my cat head. Y'all, okay. I'm going to drop these tinder plugs. I don't like it. Don't like it. We're going to drop... Gosh. This is really hard, y'all. My life is really sad. We're going to drop... Oh. We've got a lot of guts. What if I need them? I'll drop some guts. I'll drop some. I'll just drop some guts. I'll drop these newsprint. Oh, I'm keeping all that. I will drop the money. I don't need it. It's fine. This is some more cured guts. I drop them. Don't like it. Some more newsprint. We'll drop that. My life is... Look how hard my life is. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to not drop this, but I'm going to harvest it. Because I think we have gloves on both of our hands, right? Yeah, we got gloves. We're good. And then... right? Like, I feel like we did such a good job. Look at us. Yay. We're at 43. That's really good. And then we can just, like, everything else is, like, so, let's not drop anything else. Because everything else is, like, we'll drop this money. We don't need the money. Who cares about the money? And then we'll, Ta-da. Oh, you know what? I'm going to eat and drink some stuff. This is a good idea. Kind of, I don't want to, what if I eat this and I have no food left? You know what we'll do? We'll drink coffee. Let's have some coffee, which will we'll get rid of some space. Food. Here's some coffee. We're going to drink our coffee. Right? Give her some calories. It's good. Okay. It's not disappointing until you're not... Oh. Well, the thing is, we don't have any more food. That's the problem. We only have this we have one bit of food, this fresh venison, and that is all the food we have. That's it. Sadly. And I don't want it... And I think it's like 880 calories, which I think is more than our full-up space, you know? And I don't want to... We're still too encumbered. I just saved. Okay, so we're going to have to eat this meat. I do not want to eat the meat because I feel like we might be wasting. All right, so we've eaten the meat. We are going to... Not going to drop that. We're going to drink until we're full. Do you think we can't have any encumbrance? Do you think we can have some encumbrance? Maybe we can repair something. Here, let's repair this. Oh, okay, but I don't want to drop the deer hides because I feel like we're going to need those deer hides for our shoes, to make shoes when we learn how to make shoes. So let's repair. We're going to just... I can't repair one in the dark? Oh, hey, I think the Aurora Borealis is done. So the Aurora Borealis is over. So I will show you. Hold on. Let's, so we're at 42 kilograms and we can carry 30. Sometimes we can get a bonus that brings us to 35, but we do not currently have that. Well, you know what? This is a good question. What if... The question is, were we unable to move past because of electricity or because of blockages? Because if it is due to electricity, we might be able... I do not think I should jump off this area. Although, what if I could? What if I jump from here to there? Do you think I would die? Hey, werewolf feels. You don't jump? All right, Max, I won't jump. But what if I... You know, Max, I have an entire emote that's all about jumping off of things. Because the thing's like, maybe it's not... We'll try the safe way first. The safe way. And then we will try the less safe way. Y'all, on the West Coast, there was a grocery store chain called Safeway. Does that still exist? That's my question. Oh, I don't think I can break down in the dark. Ugh. Whatever. Safeway. It was like a whole... So, I do not think we can get... Because this is like metal we clearly can't get through. We can... Yeah, so it does not look like... All right, let's try. Look, and then I'm gonna go. I'm going. We did have Safeway in California. Oh yeah, it probably was bought out, right? I cannot be... Well, first off, I feel like that's really unfair. That seems really rude. But I may not need to dump everything important, because I might be able to just, like, since the electricity's off, I might just be able to walk through, right? I mean, if there's no electricity, we might be fine. Come on. Look, I should be able to walk over this. Come on. Just let me, let's, just, look. Oh, they're safe in the south? It looks like they're not going to let me just walk over this thing. That's kind of messed up. I'm just gonna say that. You know what this means? That means I have to go down the rope. I know. Somebody let Curlins go through. Let that go through because it's all true. Yep. Yep. Okay, I'm doing it. I am going to. I just don't want to, but I will. And here's the thing. I'm going to drop my stuff before I quit the game today. Like, you know what? It's the end of the day. I'm going to go, once we finish dropping this stuff, I'm going to stop, get some food, and I am going to drop my stuff. I mean, Max, I technically can drop my stuff. It's just that then I won't have my stuff. Then I just won't have stuff, and I'll be really sad about the lack of stuff. Okay, I'm gonna listen to Krellin, listen to you all, listen to the game. Apparently everybody thinks I should drop my stuff, and I'm gonna drop the stuff. No, I can't, and they will not let me have it. So, okay, I'm just gonna, all right, so clothes. I can't drop any of that because I'm wearing it. Food, I really should not drop any of that because it's my food and I don't have a lot of food. Tools, I'm not dropping the rifle or the hatchet or the speaking of which, I'm gonna extinguish this for the moment and go back in there. We're gonna do this. Right? Okay. Not dropping the bedroll, not dropping my cooking pot, not dropping my tools or this little knife or the crowbar or the hacksaw or that. I need another knife. I need my distress pistol. I need my flares. I can drop a snare. Okay. Need the can opener. Need my flares. I've got a lot of flares. I will drop those flares. Okay, I just dropped some flares. It is sorted by weight. No, you can't chuck them down below. They won't let you. I need these bullets. I need these 2 cans. I need my cleaning kit. Speaking of cleaning kit, no, I'm good. I've got a lot of sewing kits. They don't weigh a lot, and I do use them, so I feel like I shouldn't get rid of them. This is almost done. Oh, you know what I could do? I could sharpen the blades. That's what I'll do. I'll sharpen the blades, and that'll probably get rid of my whetstone. So let's see what I can sharpen. Let's sharpen this. I'll sharpen it. It'll probably get rid of the whetstone. I can drop that, right? And my whetstone's done. I have no more whetstone. Drop it. Okay. I need those lines. They're not very heavy, so I don't feel like it makes a lot of sense to get rid of them. Here, we'll ignore that for the moment. For my health stuff, I do not think I should really drop any of my health stuff, although I can drop the rose hips, because I can get more of those. I don't want to drop the antibiotics or the stems, and I don't want to drop my tea. Yeah, we're close. We'll drop, all right, let's go to fire starting. We're going to drop all the fire starting stuff. I don't like it, but we will. All of it. We're just dropping our fire starting stuff. Just, except for our matches. They don't weigh a whole lot. Okay, so we dropped the matches, which leaves us with materials. We'll drop the wolf pelts because wolves are always going to chase us. We're going to keep the cloth. We'll keep the deer hides. We will drop the mushrooms. We'll drop the guts, even though I might need them. But guts are guts. They're sort of generic. We'll drop the rose hips. These feathers seem interesting, and they don't weigh a lot. I'm down to 33.6. I'm down to 33.6, everybody. That's not bad. I'm going to drink some water. Oh, you know what I'll do? I think I've got coffee. I'll drink coffee. If I drink coffee, I have 1 coffee left. We'll drink it. The problem is all the heavy things right now are kind of important. So, it's like the heaviest thing I have is my rifle, and I do not want to drop my rifle because I need it to shoot things. Then I've got this, which is like a hatchet. I need that. This is a lot of these things that my heavier things are actually kind of crucial so I don't die. I could get rid of all these beard dressings. Okay, we're going to drop all of them. I don't like that at all, but we're doing it. I can drop this improvised knife. Don't like that, but I did it. I'm really close, y'all. I know, right? I can't drop the tool set. That's important. Those are quality. The antiseptic's important. The cloth is important. I could... One of the uncured hides. Okay. I could drop the other uncured hide. I repaired mostly everything. I have another knife. I have a hunting knife, which is better than the improvised knife, so I figured, and it weighs less, so I figured keep the actual knife, drop the improvised knife. I am really close. I'm less than a kilo. Less than a kilo. I could drop one snare. I could... Yeah, I don't think I have anything uncured at the moment. Well, you have to carry them to get to, dry them out so they become cured. I'm worried that I'm not going to have enough stuff to make shoes. Okay, so... Will you let me climb down now? I'm only a little over encumbered. Right? Just a little? Oh, man. All right. They're really not going to... I need to get to weight. Okay. I feel like once we do this, the game is over. Well, not the game, but I feel like our chapter's over. So, what do I drop? I just need 55. You know what we could do, maybe? I have an idea. I can maybe drop some of my matches. I've got a bunch of matches, and maybe I can drop some of them. So let's drop that. Ooh, matches. Matches. I might need them. Okay, we'll drop those. Oh, man. They are not that heavy, though. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saving lots of weight. You know, I suppose I could drop this, let's drop this magnifying lens. Right? Sure. Okay. Well, I'm close. Get rid of the paper ones? All right, I will get rid of the paper ones. Hello, paper matches. This weighs hardly anything, though. I don't have 100. We're going to get rid of these wooden matches. They don't weigh a lot, though, but okay. 26.26. I'm going to get rid of these matches. Yeah, okay. All right, so I got rid of some matches. I still have a lot of matches. Okay, not getting rid of any clothing. I could drink some herbal tea. Right? That's nice. I feel very warm and healthy. And I'm going to drink one more herbal tea. Who needs pants? Oh, apparently I do. Gonna just, Oh, I can't drink because I'm not thirsty. It's awesome. You know what I could do? You know what I'm gonna do? Can I, drop the water? Yeah. We're dropping the water. We are underweight, everyone. Underweight. Save the game. I'm panicked. It's insane. We're climbing down this rope. We're just climbing down the rope. How am I doing? Am I okay? It's dark. Am I all right? Am I okay? Hello? Hello? You know what it is? I can't see anything. That's what's happening. I don't know what's happening right now. Can anyone? Can I? Here we go. Maybe let's try to light this and see where we're at. Hello. Hey, here we are. Well, everyone, I think we're going to end our chapter right about now. This is it. This is it, everybody. This is it. This is it. Oh. Hey. I'm walking so fast. I can't grab any of this stuff. They won't let me. They're so mean. They're so mean. It's like really hard. My life is hard, but I'm gonna just take some cloth now. I can't. I feel like I should maybe. No, I don't want that. I just want to search this metal container. I feel like I should get some wood though.
I think I can use this.
Thanks. And maybe like I could just break down one of these crates so I have a little bit of wood, just in case. Just like That's it though. Ooh, I'm running out of. Oof. Look, just give me some. It is not too heavy. You're carrying less than you have ever carried. Beans! Beans! Rissa, you've given me reward. You know what that means, right? That means I'm going to sing to end the stream. But because I feel like we're on the precipice of greatness, I just want to search this room, walk out that door, and then I feel like we're gonna be done, right? Yes? All right. Give me liberty. I feel like that's our exit. But before we do exit, we should probably just search everything because I hope there's food.
Stuff will come in handy.
Hey, a dress shirt. Nice. A whetstone? Look, people. I'm a... Precipice of Greatness is my Edge of Glory cover song. No, that's fair, and I honor that. So, look, it looks to me like we are gonna run out of light. Yep, that's awesome. Ooh, okay. Y'all, we're gonna have to use our matches, which I don't like to do, but we're gonna do it to just give a quick look-see around here, and then I think we're gonna just get out. And then I'm gonna have food, and then work, and then Edge of Glory, and then Precipice of Defeat. How big is this place? Look. Oh, sorry. You feel like you made a lot of torches? Yeah. I can't make torches because I don't have any. What do you call it? Lighter fluid. But if I make a fire, then I can grab some torches. It's just like this doesn't seem. Oh, hey, there's a downstairs. Everybody, there's a downstairs, which makes me feel like maybe
Could end up being useful.
we're not as done as we think we are. I have a thought. My thought is I should try the door because the door may not actually open, and if it doesn't, then we know we have to search downstairs. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. People. I don't know if you know how excited I am for the fact that I just have another hat. This is something that is beautiful. It is magical. Leave lower dam. It's locked. Okay. Y'all, that's the story. It's locked. We've got to travel down that place. So we're not going to do that this session. We're going to do that next session. We're going to set ourselves up for success by standing right near this precipice. And then we're going to go this way because this is the way to go. And we're going to save. 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 This is us. We're saving. But, oh, you know what I don't know? I don't know how encumbered I am right now. I'm only a little over encumbered. It's pretty good. I feel like I'm going to quit now. I'm quitting the game. Quitting the game. All right. People. Yes, I still need shoes. But I'm going to get shoes. And I'm feeling really good. Now, because I got some bits to reward me for dumping all those things that I need in my life, probably. I'm going to sing We're in the Money, as sung by Ginger Rogers from the film Gold Diggers of 1933, which means I'm singing it in Pig Latin. Airway and hey, the Ani man. Airway and hey, the Ani man. Ewayat Gilead, wayat wakes to Utiat Galeong wayo. Airway and hey, the Ani man. E the ice skates are Ani say. Old man, the aviation pray, ooh, the West End, we young ray. You ever eat red lions lay, red lions lay, day. And when we see the end, we'll clap the eye guy right in the eye. We're in the money, we're in the money. We've got a lot of what it takes to get along. Thank you so much for those bits. That was great. We got a lot of stuff done, and we talked about all sorts of stuff too. That's amazing. So, when can you see me next? So after this, go to KY Hawkeye's channel for Critical Role. I'm going to be writing, but then I'll be back next week. Today is Thursday. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern on my channel, you can find me for City of Light and Shadow. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. They've got some trouble right here in River City. And then on Saturday, at noon, on my channel, you can find me playing The Outer Worlds. It's been a long time since we played The Outer Worlds. It's been a really long time due to some Saturday commitments, but we're going to be playing The Outer Worlds, and I'm going to play the banjo first. I'm going to play just one song, maybe two, but we'll play the banjo first, and we'll play The Outer Worlds. I'm really excited. And then you can find me on Sunday. Colas. I mean it. I'm gonna play it. Sunday. I don't know what I'm going to play yet because I've been practicing a whole lot of songs, and there are some songs that I've played for y'all before, but I'm probably going to start from the beginning and just start playing, make a list. I'm not going to just play them. And then Sunday at 8 p.m. over at Praxagorthosmophoria, you can catch me for Witcher Roads Home. And that's the week. Next Tuesday, 10 a.m., my channel and Little Red Dot's channel, Simply Divine. Us playing Divinity Original Sin. So that's it. Oh, your granny turns 101 on Saturday? Rissa, that's amazing. That's amazing. Y'all, I want to do some other stuff. I can't tell you what it is yet because I don't know what it is. I haven't decided. But I'm looking forward to some stuff. It's all vague. Not because I'm hiding it from you, but because I don't know what it is yet, because I just feel like I need to find out when my apartment in Massachusetts becomes open. So when I'll be moving, I need to figure out, I need to rent a U-Haul. And once I know when I'm moving up there, moving back, I can know what kinds of things I can schedule once Colas ends December 3rd or December 3rd, I think, ish, which means I might have like maybe one or two. Like, I'm going to work it out. Anyway, I am going back to the dorms. And that's what I'm doing. I'm going back to the dorms. And then I will be, I'm going back to the dorms. But I probably will not live there forever. I can only hope Dot will help keep you from moving in the dead of night like usual. Twitch student? What? Thanks, Prof. Always educational, always fun, always appreciated. Seriously, music talks are enjoyable. Look, Twitch student, what I'm going to tell you before I sing the song is that I have contacted a lawyer, and I have signed my little contract with the lawyer, and the lawyer is going to write me some language about fair use so that I'm going to, once I get the language from the lawyer, I am going to do a music stream. But I want to get the language from the lawyer first, you know what I mean? And once I do, music stream. And if we get in trouble, I'll have a lawyer's language to help me. Boom. But, Twitch student, thank you. I want to do a disco lecture. Anyway. We're in the Money, as sung by Ginger Rogers from the film Gold Diggers 1933, which means I'm going to sing it in Pig Latin. Let the music play. Yes, look, I'm telling you, I've been working on it. I got a lawyer. She said that she could not represent me in court if we had to go to court, but I think it's fine. I will, if I need to, I'll like talk to the EFF or something. But I just wanted the language, you know, letters. And I'm going to do it fast. Ginger Rogers sang this in Pig Latin. I listened to her over and over again. She sang it like in English, and then she sang it in Pig Latin, and this is the Pig Latin part, and I'm going to try to see how fast I can sing it. Irwayan hey the anime. Irwayan hey the anime. Iwayakela we avoid it takes to taking a long way. Irwayan hey the anime. The ice skates are on say. Oh man, the ocean may are the rest of rail. Even if we're on the side of a rail say ute day. And when we see the end of the IA, we're in the money. We're in the money. We've got a lot of what it takes to get along. It's hard. I'm gonna tell you what. Okay. I'm going to get some food, then I'm going to get some writing done, because I've got a presentation tomorrow at 4 p.m., and I've got to get there a little bit earlier for tech. And you can find me at other places. Oh, yeah, join our Discord, hang out with us there. You can, follow, subscribe if you like over here, in this place. And you can join the Patreon, which goes to help support the RPGs. And you can find me on Twitter. You can go to YouTube, where the archive of all the stuff is. And I've got to go put out a Patreon letter. I'll do that after the presentation tomorrow. Afterwards. That's it. Okay. Oh, thank you for joining. Yay! And that's it. I'm going to give you a little spoiler right now, because we didn't stream Kolos June and July, right? So I think we ended in May, and we didn't stream June and July. So because we had those 2 extra months from Patreon to help do the funding, at this point in time, of course, it always slows down a little bit as the season goes on. So at this point in time, I am not in the red as long as I don't pay myself. So at this moment, all the cast is paid with what we've come in from Tips and Bits and Patreon. I'm not paid, but we still have another month and some. And so hopefully, right? Hopefully, in the end of the season, we will be in the black for the cast, not me. If we get anything left over, then I will pay myself. But at the moment, the cast is as of this moment, the cast is good, but I don't know how it'll be at the end of November. But anyway, looking good. But that also means that the kind of December, January moment will also probably help bank to pay for the next season of Kolos, which by the way is going to happen. That's a spoiler. But I'm going. That's it. I'm going. All right. So I will talk to you all. And I will, if I were not moving, I'd have all of December and January to do all sorts of other RPGs, but I do not, because I've got to move in the middle. But we're going to start Kolos in February, which means I might be able to do something, mid to late January after Unpacked. We will see. Anyway, I'm going. I'm leaving. Take care, everybody. You're all the best, and we'll catch you all on the flip side. Bye.